gosh.
Say what? Say what? What? Say what?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Say What segment of the 1/6 Scale Man YouTube channel. How y'all doing? Great to have you here. As always, it's the hump day, it's the Wednesday, it's the can't wait till the fuck it's Friday day. So that's how it's been for me pretty much all week since the weekend. But how y'all doing? So glad to have you. It's going to be a lovely, lovely discussion tonight with a group of individuals that just don't give a fuck. That's just how it is. But anyway, let's welcome them all in. What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Gentlemen.
Doing good.
Everybody's here. We got the man, the legend, John, the smooth voice, Logan in the building. How you doing,
I'm
bro?
bringing the hate today. I'm bringing the hate.
You bringing the heat?
Okay.
I see you bringing the
Up.
heat. Yo, what's going on? We got two Baldinis in the same
three
space.
Baldinis.
We got three Baldinis. That's what's up,
One
bro.
doesn't have a hat on, but three bald.
I usually have a hat on. I just,
Isn't it illegal to have this many bald men in one place?
Nah,
I
not
feel like there's
really.
some kind of rule against
Hey,
it.
I'm okay with it because
Manly.
a couple of things. One, I don't have to waste any time getting ready. A bottle of shampoo lasts me like 2.5 years.
Yeah, me too.
And
Hey,
I have a nicely shaped head too. I don't have some like bulbous thing over it. Like it works. So I'm like, okay, fuck it.
I don't have to get my hair cut. Saves money. There you
Yeah.
go.
It saves a lot of money, seriously.
Yeah.
It
If you're
does.
balding, just embrace it.
I have
Seriously.
this thing
Stop
called
it.
the skull shaver. It's great. It fits in the palm of
Yeah.
your hand. You just boom like that.
Oh, really?
well,
Okay.
we got
2 minutes, I'm
three
done.
balls and 2 silver slicks in here. So you know how
right,
we go.
man. Look at
We
that.
right, you know what I mean? We got the silver, you know what I mean? That's how I go.
I'm just happy to have it. I got a pretty thick
Exactly.
head of hair, man.
That's the Richard Gere.
Hey, right? There you
And he
go.
still got that hair, you know?
Hell yeah, he still got it. He still got those silver locks. You already know how that
does.
goes, man. How's everybody doing today? I'm so glad to have this panel. It's going to be a great discussion tonight. One that's kind of near and dear to my heart, but I know it's going to be kind of divisive, but we'll see how it
No.
goes.
I
We'll
don't
see
know,
how
man.
it
You're
basically.
such a poser, dude. Come on.
Yeah, clearly.
Right. But we're going to see how it actually runs down. So glad to have everybody. We got John in the building. We got the real Riley butt-naked assassin. I don't know why he doesn't put that up because I'm going to change it one of these days anyway. We got Will Foxification in the building and the one and only Robert Meyer Burnett in the building. How you doing, bro?
Things are good, man. I feel like I've been streaming. I talk more about toys than I talk about anything else, and I love it.
Right? That's what it's all about. We talk
I mean,
about toys and it's an escape.
Not too shabby.
I got to say,
Not
like
bad.
last night we were talking about, we watched, it was very funny. I mentioned it today that I don't think ever 3 minutes of YouTubers being completely silent
Has ever
has
happened,
ever
right?
been so
Never
entertaining.
been so compelling.
It was
That's-
extremely entertaining, and it was funny because we were having this discussion, and then I'm watching both you and Will like, yeah, Justin.
Joseph was talking. I was
How
like,
did
yeah,
it-
that sounds great.
How did it
Yeah.
go 3 minutes without anybody fucking noticing? Though?
Bro, they loved it.
They loved it.
Loved
You know,
it. Like
people
people
noticed.
we all
loved
just
it.
watched the trailer.
We watched
Yeah.
the trailer and they loved it. Like everybody
And-
was like, "This is the most entertaining."
And I have to say, right
Cold
after,
as
right after it's over, we're all like, man, this is going to be one expensive movie when it comes to the hot
Right.
toys.
It is.
And not to be outdone, mere hours later, Hot Toys drops the hammer.
The heat.
The
Man.
hammer.
And you know what?
John's
Hey,
got
hey.
something to say about that.
Hey, Rob, you know what I did? You know what I did?
Pre-ordered.
No, but check it out. No, remember last night I did, but remember last night I told you I pre-ordered and bought that iron. I was gonna buy the Iron Spider. Like this, the man, I canceled that thing quick. I canceled that thing
Although
quick.
I gotta say,
Wait for movie promo, maybe.
I gotta say, I love my Iron Spider figure.
I know, but
that
that integrated.
It's
I have the Iron Spider. I like it, but it's not. It's my least favorite of all my Spideys.
See, I'm a huge. My Iron Spider love goes back to the actual Civil War comic.
Right. Well, that's
And-
why I love the video game Iron Spider. That
Yeah.
thing is a
Yeah.
masterpiece.
No, it's great,
Yeah.
but the thing is, I can't decide, especially for the price. This new what is it? What are the
Integrated.
The
suit.
integrated suit?
I think
It
it looks. I really
Looks phenomenal.
love
bro.
it. I just can't decide about. I can't figure out like is it fabric mixed with that neoprene?
It looks. I think it is. I think it's fabric with some of that neoprene and metallic.
Because I
painted
love
or
what it
like-
look. I love it.
It looks
John,
great.
you hate it?
Yeah.
You shaking your head like that because you didn't like it?
No, I think you're right. You're right. It's
Yeah,
got-
I-
It's phenomenal.
Did
looks
any of
great.
you guys
It looks
already
good.
pre-order that?
Not yet.
No,
I want to
see-
see the
Okay,
film.
don't.
I didn't
don't.
pre-order
This is what
it.
I wanted to tell people though,
Oh.
because I saw a lot of people that were like pissed off at the price, as everybody's pissed off about the price of every Hot Toys release. You know,
Yeah, but that base,
gets
that
announced.
die, you got two
That base,
choices.
yeah.
You can
It's-
go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So here's the thing, though. All right, that figure's not coming out for 18 to 24 months. Okay, we know that. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, it's
Hell yeah.
2023.
Hell yeah.
There is a very good chance that we could get an official Hot Toys Doc Ock from this movie. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but there is a good chance.
I say a good chance. Yeah.
Here's the thing. If we do get that, and that's a figure that you'd be interested in picking up, then you don't need the deluxe version with that Doc Ock base if you're going to have Doc Ock posed with him, right? So hold off a little bit, wait a couple months, see if they announce the Doc Ock. I'm not saying you don't.
Dude,
I'm
that
saying you have
diorama
to
a good
base
point.
is
That
dope.
base, bro.
That
Yeah,
makes
Got
it
these
incredible.
smoking pumpkin
Come on,
bombs,
man.
dude.
The
fucking
base
base
is cool.
is fire.
Yes, the base is
It's
really
real good.
cool. So I think it's worth the price. But I'm just saying, would you have that figure posed with that Doc Ock and on the base? It wouldn't make sense if you have both of them. I'm just saying
I
it's an
probably
option.
wouldn't do it anyway, but it's the thing is that look,
I
that
love
base
that base, and I'm
that
gonna get
base
it.
is like a quarter scale stat. It's just like quarter scale.
It's
like
real
you've
nice.
actually bought it. It's real decent.
look,
Shrunk
I
down into
totally
1/6
agree, and
scale.
that's
I'm
why
on
I
that.
say
Review
I'm
says-
gonna get that.
Good
But
price.
I'm on that. Plus
you're-
right now,
if
just
you're
keep in
trying to
mind,
save money-
if you do basically get it, or if you get it on Sideshow, if you decide to, people out there who support and they want to get it on Sideshow, there's no NRD, so you can actually order it anyway. And you don't pay a thing. So if you want to,
But I'm just saying,
There
if
is
you're
no
looking to
NRD on
save
that?
a
No.
little bit of money,
no. If you actually pre-order through
Spider-Man
Sideshow
figures,
right
for some
now,
reason,
there's
they
no
don't
NRD
yeah,
at all.
Spider-Man figures for
You
some
can just
reason
pre-order
don't
it.
have NRDs on Sideshow. That's been a thing forever. I
You
don't
can
know
just
why.
pre-order it.
That's because no one who pre-orders them ever doesn't buy them. You know, everyone
Could
buys
be.
their because
Right.
Spider can.
But
right?
And honestly,
All I'm-
that black suit is incredible, and that's coming out soon, January
Yeah.
to March.
Yeah, and
That-
after
that's
seeing, I mean,
really
you know what?
nice.
After seeing the trailer, I'm like, oh, I gotta have me that too.
Yeah.
That
everybody
black
was
suit
saying
with the gold.
I pre-ordered that one, and everybody was saying, "Oh, that I don't know about that suit." And let's wait and see if it has any like relevance to the movie, really, or if it's just a 2-second thing. Now people aren't even waiting for that because they saw it in a couple shots
Right,
in
the
the trailer,
trailer.
and everybody's got a hard on for this suit.
Yeah,
Why?
I love the suit.
I
It's
already
funny when
got
it
mine
came
pre-ordered.
out, I didn't love it, but now after seeing the trailer, I do. But I'm still gonna see the film before I pre-order anything.
Oh, we're
But
gonna
that black
definitely.
suit.
We're gonna end up
Real
picking
nice.
it apart again tonight. So
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
that's just
okay.
you already know how that's gonna happen. We're gonna end up. Let me address the chat real quick before we jump into anything. We have the one and only Joe Mama in the building. Looking forward to that. Definitely, we have him in the building. We have Cuervo 8383. We have Bob Dylan. He says so can a bunch of us. We can pre-order and then cancel him. That's funny. We got let's see who Takathri is in the building. The Dakinator is here. Mike Fiella, Cuervo. I already said 2 bars in the building. Jason, is that him right in the building? I think so. Ben Thomas, Luminar 843. Thank you for being here as always. It's lovely to have you here. S Beam, as Will would say, Sean Beam. We have Kurt Donald in the building. We have Brian Hepburn is here. Joe Mama said, is it Joe Mama 007? Yes. 6 Scale Reviews in the building. Thank you for coming through. Bob Dylan, no NRDs. Brian Hepburn, I already said that. Let's see here. And I know you said, Brian R., you said, yeah, I thought I didn't pre-order it. I just said I was just canceling the one that I was buying last night. I said, no, I'm not getting that. Barrett's here. Let's see here. Big Collector in the building. Thank you for coming through. Simon is in the building as always. DK is here. Pedro 23 is in the building. Let's see here. Who else got? Genta is here. Thank you for coming through. Let's see here. Damon Zapp is in the building. As always, thank you for coming through. Let's see who we got. My man, Malachi Mabane is in the building. Thank you for coming through. Lovely to have you here, man, as always. And Louis Lebitz is here. So glad to have you. Iron Logan, he just said what's up to everybody. He's on the show.
He's here.
What's this? Otaka Samara is in the Samurai is in the building. Otaku wait a minute. Otaku Samurai, I think. I guess I'm saying it right.
Journey to the center of my balls.
Exactly right. Yo, is
He
he
better
in the
be here
building?
tonight.
He better be here. Kinky Sphincter's in the building. So glad to have you here. Let's see here. I think I've covered. Oh, Kay Carter is here because I like to go through, make sure I got everyone here. So yes, who's that? OGG 1986 is here. We got quite a few people in the building. KG is in the building. KG Chalamet, bro. You're not supposed to be in this chat. You make that money. 10%. Make that money.
10%.
10%. Make that money. So definitely, yeah. But yes, we have quite a few here. I'm so glad we got everybody in. But first, before we even actually jump into the main, because we already on this topic, we've been actually just talking about this, for a minute, and I was pulling it up anyway. I was like, you know what, we might as well just kind of jump in because this piece is something that everybody's talking about. Look at this beauty right here, boy. Like this thing, man. Listen.
Look at the smoking pumpkin bombs. Come on.
Smoking pumpkin bombs,
I really
bro.
like that. Yeah.
You know what? Before I even saw that it was a smoking pumpkin bombs, you know what I thought it was? Mysterio's Mist. But then I was like, no. I looked
I thought
closely.
so
and I
too.
yeah, I did. I thought that's what it was. I was like, okay, are we getting a hint or something?
Justin pointed out something that I completely agree with. He said that with diorama bases like this, Hot Toys is directly challenging the statue market.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're giving you this kind of dynamism in with the smoking pumpkin bombs and the whole sculpted base, and plus you've got the added benefit of posing the figure the way you want it within that base. They did it with the quarter scale Spider-Man figure, which is really beautiful.
Yeah.
And even the base you can move it around the way you want.
See, bro,
The base is modular.
The options it gives you is next level. Like
Yep.
the things you're going to be able to do for photography. I mean, even all the poses they've done there, you're going to be able to do way more. Like,
I mean, that head
Like,
sculpt with look at that. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
The quarter
so
scale
glad they
vulture
did that.
base is absolutely phenomenal, and the options that you have for how to put that thing together, I absolutely love it. So if they
incredible.
start doing more of that in the 6 scale market, then yeah, that's gonna be huge, because we have seen that the statue market has really been exploding lately, and tons of Hot Toys collectors have started to pick up statues, especially with like the long dry spells of no Hot Toys releases.
Yeah.
People have been like, all right, I'm gonna start putting
Well,
my
look
funds
at the-
elsewhere and stuff.
Look at this.
So
man.
Hot Toys is definitely recognizing that, and if they start shifting back and trying to figure out, okay, how do we do this, and then I think
This-
plus there are
I
companies
think
out there that
competing
are
right
just
now.
making diorama bases and selling those. And
Bro,
people
this
are
is
pairing those with
phenomenal.
Hot
Like,
Toys.
I'm trying
Really
to figure
nice.
out how they are going to actually, how it's going to be posed up. That's going to be interesting to see how they do it, like just the ingenuity itself. But this is, bro, look at this piece.
I mean, those
man.
claws are articulated. They move.
Yeah.
They're bendy claws, and then the things open and close. I mean, it's
it's sort of like it's like an advanced anti-ock base.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you can pose it when
Lael,
you
I
have a
think we
posable
got
base.
somebody knocking on the
I
door.
think Justin's here.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he tried
Brendan,
to the
to touch
private
on
chat.
your point,
Unless
mate,
he's just
they're
hanging
even
out in the
doing
private
the-
chat.
Oh, he woke up. I
He
was
did
thinking,
wake up.
my man, Justin
Hey.
Kane is in the building,
There he
aka your boy. You know his name. You know you love him.
Keola.
Keola is in the building, and his poster was released.
Oh
Yes.
my God. You guys gotta.
Keola, my man, what's up? Hey, Justin, we were actually just diving in. We were talking about.
I was just representing for you, Justin.
I was watching.
Yeah,
don't
we
worry.
we
I
were
didn't want
representing
to
for
steal
you.
your thunder. I gave you full credit for the idea for the
Definitely.
Sorry, John. What were you asking a second ago?
I was just saying, I think they're competing. They're definitely competing with statues because I mean,
Yeah.
they're doing the busts now too. So they're doing the
Yeah.
bust. They're doing the wide capes. They're competing with it. I think they see everything that the secondary market's doing.
They
I'll
need
tell
to.
you what really sparked it off is they were like, oh shit, Justin's collecting statues now. That's gonna shift the market. We gotta fucking
JC does love Justin. It's confirmed.
Yeah, he does.
we gotta
He
we gotta
did
nip
say
that
it.
in the bud right
He
quick.
does love you, bro. He watches everything you do, so you're
Kind
the
of wish-
voice.
You know what? I'll take it, Lael. I kind of wish they did. Like, I just reviewed that black suit Spidey recently, and it's great for its age. But the one thing that they did was they gave it the Sandman base and the normal base, because yeah, I love this. This base is gorgeous. But what if one day I run out of space and I want to put it back in the box? Why does it not come with both? Why is there not a way
It's like
for
the
me to get both
Ahsoka
bases?
DX. The Ahsoka
I know, and I
DX,
hate
right?
that too.
It
I
only
hate that
comes
too.
like if you get the special one, it only comes with that base and not with like the standard. So
With
if
the
you
regular
decide
one.
you don't want to use that all the time, you're shit out of luck.
Yep, I hate that too. There should be a version that I can get that has everything. I don't like
Has a
that
double,
I'm
yeah.
losing out either way. So I
mean,
get
it's
one
not like
thing, but I
that
lose
costs
out
that
on another
much more
Yeah,
for them to include
yeah.
the regular base in there.
Look at
thing.
that.
Exactly.
And it's more
That shot
incentive.
was
Yeah, it's more incentive to buy
This
it.
is brilliant, bro. I mean, I get it, but this, my God. I mean, I'm
It
just, you
gives
know
me
what? I'm
more
happy.
hope.
I'm happy at the simple fact that number one, they are reaching and doing something like this, something that they, you know, in most cases haven't done, you know, especially on this scale, on this level.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of happy that they're doing it, and I guess it's like the big shebang for them, like especially with this film. You know, however it goes, whether you know the IP goes back to Sony or whatever, but I just like it. I mean, I love that pose. Oh, that pose.
It gives me hope
That
that
looks
we
great.
might actually get Ock and Green Goblin too, with
I
this
don't
this
know.
base having the pumpkin
think
bombs in
this-
there.
I think this says that you're not going to get them, to be honest.
Really?
I think it's the opposite.
Yeah.
You think?
Kind of like what they did with Vulture with the Homecoming
Yep.
quarter scale. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Will said in the podcast that we recorded, yeah, it's like the Vulture base, the Antioch suit base with the tentacles, the Scorpion base with classic suit.
Unfortunate.
They've done it before.
Yeah, they have.
It's a.
I mean,
nice
they
little
could,
tip
but
of the cap to
Justin,
those characters.
keep saying it. Keep saying it. Keep saying
And
that they're
then
not going to do it.
Reverse psychology.
Keep saying that they're not going to do it because they're listening.
Accuracies
Then they'll do it. Yeah.
And they listen to you. They listen to
Do
you.
we
So
really care? Do we really care? I don't
True.
know. I mean,
true.
you know.
He's real good. He's real good. Did you speak about the inaccuracies yet, or no?
No.
No, I did not. I was going to leave that to you
Oh.
because I
Okay,
didn't.
okay.
But the thing is, I'm just enamored by this piece, bro.
I
Like,
haven't
just-
looked to see what those inaccuracies are because I haven't examined like the trailer and stuff really close. Like, so
Okay.
what are we talking about?
Very minor, and I assume they will fix it. If not, you can fix it yourself because it's the hands. The hands. So basically, what this suit is it's the upgraded suit combined with the nanotech from Iron Spider. We all can see
Right.
that, obviously.
Mhm.
The hands, they flipped the colors for some reason. For this, the fingers are black, but the middle of the hand is red. It's supposed to be the other way, like upgraded suit. The fingers are supposed to be red.
That should be an
So-
easy fix for
Yeah,
them to
an easy
correct.
Yeah.
easy fix because the upgraded suit has those hands. They're red on the fingers. The other one isn't such an easy fix. It's the texture on the black sections. It's supposed to be, again, like upgraded suit, a bunch of lines. Versus here, which is, they've gone with this, like, I don't know how to describe it, like this dotted texture. It's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be exactly the same as upgraded suit. So,
Oh yeah, it is horizontal lines on the upgraded
Correct.
suit.
Man,
bunch of
look at
lines.
that.
Nice.
Look at those
Yeah.
wings, dude. Come on.
Well, see, this
I
is the
assume they'll
part
fix
that
it.
I hated the most. I didn't.
Yeah.
I hated trying to get these things on. I
The wings
hated
are
it.
never like they'll look
wings.
good in a photo like this, but
Right.
practically they never work out in displays.
No.
Nah, never.
The magnets are too weak, or they don't connect. Like you
Mhm.
get them into one, but then it comes out of the other side. Like they just don't work.
But
Plus
you know
the
what?
stain,
You
you
know what
have to
this
use the
reminds me
stain to-
of, though. You know what this reminds me of, and I hate to say it, but
Sugar Glider.
I love to say it. Nah, it actually reminds me of Banshee,
Oh,
the comic
okay.
version of Banshee. And I would hope we would. I've been hoping so much that we
You
would
know,
actually get a comic version, bro.
I've been wondering what this reminded me of, and I was like, "What? It is Banshee." That's what I was
Yup.
thinking.
It is
Yeah.
Banshee, bro.
Sean
it is.
Cassidy.
So exactly. But
I want to
nah,
see the back of this.
I love
I want
this.
to see
I
how
love
those
this.
arms connect.
Yeah, I
Mm.
do.
Yeah.
Because it's not the iron. Yeah. So this is gonna be interesting. But I love this,
I
bro.
don't think we
Look at
see a
this.
shot of his back, do we?
Yeah, I don't think
No,
so.
Oh,
not
they
in
show
the
a little-
photos so
they
far.
They show a little one in that wide shot with all the accessories. You see like a
Oh, okay.
tiny little shot of the back. But I don't know.
Man.
Ryan's going today to take photos, so maybe he'll be
Okay.
able to
Okay.
get a little bit of.
Now
a,
let me
I
ask you-
do
let-
love this.
Get
I
angled.
don't know why. It
I
could
love
be
it, bro.
you could be Power Rangers esque, but there's something about this. I think it looks regal and cool and
Yeah.
comic booky and all at the
Yeah.
same time.
I like
It
it.
just
Now,
looks fucking awesome.
Way
now
better
let me
than
let me
Iron
let me
Spider.
ask you a question. Wasn't this one of the holographic suits that he actually seen on the plane? The design, the logo. I think it was
Yeah, I
one
think
of them.
so.
Maybe.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'd have to go
believe
back
the
and look.
logo was
The logo was not saying that this was the exact suit, but I think this was one of the holograms that they actually showed.
By the way,
I
that's a
love
great
Ryan.
museum pose too.
Yeah, it
Why is
is.
this head sculpt photographed so poorly but looks so good in real
Yeah,
life?
I don't
Yeah, I
know
don't
either.
know.
It's
I don't think this
like I'm looking
photograph's
at it.
bad.
I'm looking
It
at it
looks
right
good
now.
to me.
It looks real good, but it looks so soft and too wide.
Yeah.
But then in person, it's exceptionally well done.
Oh, it's an
Yeah.
I don't know what
incredible
else.
head sculpt.
Maybe we're in
Yeah.
the minority here. I just don't feel like the half head sculpt, the half mask one, is anything anyone would use. I don't know, but
Oh, I think a lot of
Absolutely
people
will. Really?
will.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people.
have
I
no
really
interest in it
like that they
whatsoever.
included that.
It's great they include it, but the fact that I'm paying extra for it, I would never use it. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to put the mask on, or I'm going to put the head fully on. Like, there's
Well,
no way I'm using a half.
But you know what? I've got these 6-scale, like the 6-scale video game consoles, like Centipede and Asteroids. I could totally set up Spider-Man taking a break and playing an old school 80s video game.
That'd be
That's
awesome.
true. That would
And-
be a good post.
You know, and put that in a
Yeah, or
and
sitting
that-
back, peeling the mask up on his phone, you know, or eating
Yeah,
a donut.
Or you could
You
take
could.
like
You
the
could.
coffee, or you could take the pizza
Yes,
from
the
that, like
coffee,
the
yeah.
Scarlet Spider, and you could put him in the hand there, and he's lifting it up, and he's chowing down. Like, it's just the fact that they include it, at
Yeah,
least
it's nice
is
included.
something different. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah,
you
more
think
often.
about it, like if they
Miles
did
has it.
like I know they did one, but I don't have it. I have the '89 version, but like the Batman Returns, Michael Keaton. What if they
Torn
gave you a
cowl,
head
yeah.
sculpt with like the torn cowl from like the
Yeah.
end of the movie, right? Just stuff like that, or the Michelle Pfeiffer, if they would ever actually give us a 6-scale, but like they included it in the NECA quarter scale with like the torn mask and the hair coming out, stuff like that. That's just like maybe you're not going to use it all the time, but the fact that they just start including more variety and just fun stuff like that, I think is a good sign.
What'd you say?
He said zoom in
Zoom in
more.
more, Lael.
Because you can
I
see
was
the
trying.
back.
Zooming in
That's what I
hands.
was. That's what I was trying
Yeah.
to do. I was trying to basically see if we can see if you
Yeah,
look
yeah, keep going,
slightly.
keep going.
You said keep going.
Yeah,
Actually, it won't even let me
He's
do it
maxed
anymore.
it.
I got
He's
a
maxed
question about that head sculpt, the half head sculpt. Do you think the eyes are interchangeable on it?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
It's
No,
not- you mean
no.
like purs, Rob?
Oh, on the mask?
No, like
Yeah,
the
the
Spidey
mask.
eyes.
I doubt
No.
it. I think that's all sculpted in place.
Oh, the eyes are interchangeable on the mask. I thought you meant like purs, like moving. The
I mean,
eyes
there
around.
could be,
Yeah.
there could be magnets in there.
Lil,
Got a
Lil,
weird
can you
shape.
scroll up a little bit so we can see the top of the half masked one?
No, I won't let you
Nah,
zoom in.
if it's zoomed in, but I.
It
can,
would have
you
been
know.
nice if they had
It
done
might be, I don't
one
know.
of the
Yeah,
Spidey
maybe.
heads with the eyes going in a different way. Like they're
Mhm.
both the exact same head sculpt, both the eyes going the exact same way. They've done it in the past. where
Just
they
give
have
it
them
a
going
little
off to one
variance,
side or the
yeah.
other.
Or
Yeah,
just
a
at
little
least
bit.
a little bit of an expression, like because it's both the same regal
Well, then they need to
expression. like-
reinvest in
battle
we know how
damage.
Hot Toys is.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Make one battle damage because the trailer opened
Little-
up on a shot of
cheek
his
cut,
face
you
where
know?
he's all beaten.
He's
to
battle
shit.
damage the whole time.
Like
Just that
maybe
little
give
cheek
him
Yeah, that's
cut
true. Like
one.
the whole trailer.
I don't know. I
Great though.
it's a great piece. I
I
can't
love
can't deny that this piece is incredible, man.
That's
Like,
one
I
thing,
love it.
honestly, that I would love them to actually do. We haven't gotten, other than the closest thing would be Cyborg Spidey. We haven't gotten
Yeah.
a battle damaged Spidey, like a full
Right.
on just like
Mhm.
the suit at the beginning of the PS4 game from 2018, where,
Yeah.
before he gets the upgraded suit, like or the advanced suit. Give him something like that. We haven't gotten an actual battle damaged version of Spidey at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's man. Look, Bob Dylan. He actually sent the picture. Yep, he's right. He's absolutely right. Thank you, bro. Thank you for sending that.
Coming
sending
through
that
in the
real
clutch
quick.
as always.
So the
Yeah.
machine and the plane made this suit.
I'm gonna show you. Give me a second here. 'Cause Bob
Yeah,
Dylan, he actually-
when Happy picks him up at the in Far From Home, and then he like builds the upgraded suit in that, he went through and there were like holograms of different suits that he could choose from. Instead, he custom made the one that he ended up going with.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I guess that was a picture of
Ooh.
Yeah.
of that suit from that movie.
I think this
Ben
suit worked really well
Thomas.
because it looks refined. It looks like a final version. It looks like I told you, Justin, the Mark 85 of
Yeah.
Spider-Man suits. That's what it
Yes,
looks
it
like.
does.
It,
Yeah,
it looks final. It
all
looks
good.
refined. It
there it
looks
is.
very,
That's fascinating.
yeah.
Did you-
that looks pretty dead on to it.
Hey, you see the one next to
Yeah.
it had an arc reactor, bro?
Yeah, yeah.
What the hell? Come on, man! Don't do
It-
that.
Well, it
Hey,
looks
Hot
like
Toys
that
would
one
love to
might
make
have even
that,
too.
so.
The head of the spider is an arc reactor
yeah,
that's on
it
his
does.
chest.
Yeah,
Hot
it
Toys would be
did.
all
Yeah,
over
you're right,
that. You know
actually.
they would.
Because yeah, he
Spider-Man
doesn't-
and Iron
they-
Man.
Those big web shooters, they were supposed to be there. Those big gold web shooters. So the Marvel Legends figure has it, and the SH Figuarts figure both have those big gold web shooters, but they got rid of them, it seems, now. Ben Thomas has a great point, though. He says that people can use that display base with other Spideys. Like, imagine using that display base with Tobey Maguire. You
Yep.
could have the Doc Ock tentacles and the pumpkin bombs.
Yep.
It works perfectly. It's a great
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, I busted out
Yeah.
my Spider-Man 3 Tobey Maguire Hot Toys figure, and I know you were talking about the mask. Mine looks pretty good though. When I put him up on he comes
He's
with a
got that
cool diorama
No
base.
neck issue.
Yeah, but mine looks pretty good. Depending if you pose him with his head forward.
Yeah, you got to pose it down like that, and then it sort of tucks underneath the.
I got
chin.
the
Happy
media.
birthday to Ryan Kirkwood in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, Ryan
Yeah,
Kirkwood,
happy
happy
birthday.
birthday. We got the
It was
lady.
I
technically
hear
his
he
birthday
actually hit
yesterday,
puberty
but-
today.
Yeah, so
He
definitely.
woke up this morning and his voice just cracked.
His voice cracked.
Yeah,
Wow.
armpit hair and everything.
Poor Ryan.
That's
I'm
funny.
sorry, Ryan.
So yeah,
You beat Will.
Yeah, I'm still trying.
I organized him a little B-Day present, so hopefully you get that soon.
It's
Ryan.
it doesn't matter. He takes pictures like the best of them, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's
There
true.
you
He's
go.
like the
Yeah,
Herb
he'll be
Ritts
taking
of
pictures.
action figure photography.
So
There's a
we going
reference for you
today.
youngsters.
He's
I
the
don't know what
Roger
that is.
Deakins.
People like Herb Ritts. Who's
He's the Peter Parker of figure photography. You know,
That's
his
true.
little camera going, little
There you
journalist.
go.
Taking Spidey
So-
pics literally today.
You want
And
Robert
you're Jonah
Mapplethorpe.
Jameson.
Where's the Robert Mapplethorpe?
Justin
of
Jonah
action?
I'll do
Jameson,
that.
because you get the pics from Ryan.
Yeah,
pretty
and I
much.
don't,
So
I don't pay him, so.
I wanted to bring this.
All right.
It's funny.
Come back,
Oh,
I need you.
So we got this, release last night. Which I mean, I knew it was coming, but I had no idea it was going to come this. Well, I
Does
didn't.
she come with that big of an Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I'm guessing so. But again, there's going to be a couple of people probably talking about it, especially the head sculpt. I mean, I see it, but a lot of people will, probably get some pushback. on
I
this
really
one.
like it. I'm just really surprised that we got it before Loki, when
Yeah,
they had the Loki show
me too.
forever to announce the actual Loki figures from the show. And
Yeah,
I figured we would have gotten the 2012 one at some point before this. Honestly, I expected Mark 85
Yeah.
battle damage before this too. So it's kind of weird that this one dropped before the others.
yeah.
Because those are
This
the
is
only
made
two
in
remaining
much
now.
lower quantities than those two, I
Yeah.
promise you.
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it?
definitely.
That is why.
But
I wasn't gonna get this figure, but looking at these pictures, I'm like, I might
That
get
looks
this figure.
badass.
Oh, I'm
man.
getting it.
You know,
Yeah, it's
Oh,
incredible,
I'm definitely
bro.
I think it looks
Yeah.
amazing. It does
It's
look
I
incredible.
like the one from the Solo movie, and I think
Yeah,
this
right,
actually
definitely.
kind of looks better.
Yeah, this looks.
I like the
this,
suit better on this one. Yeah.
Hey, so
this
so
with the helmet on is going to be incredible. I can't wait to put the helmet on this.
so
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I was wondering if it's going to actually match. I'm hoping.
Yeah,
I
the
think it
color.
does. If the color is going to be slightly different, or if it's going to match. And then you did say that you were going to actually try to put the
I'll try it.
the
Yeah.
the other head sculpt on with the long hair. Did you say you were going to try to
Yep.
do that as well?
I'll try. I'm going to
If
try.
that
and
I
works,
do like the
yeah.
fabric piece over the crotch. I like the way it drapes over.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that blue.
I
which
just
the
hope-
original suit
Yeah.
doesn't have.
So like sash, yeah.
I sort of hope that they kind of did a slight upgrade to the I don't know the what's going on?
I mean the
It's-
material, like
Yeah, like the material itself.
I think it's going to be very similar to that.
I like
the
this
first
right
suit.
here. I love this right here, bro.
That shot is awesome.
That shot is incredible.
I mean,
do like it.
Thing is, I do like. It's like I just keep these things at my beck and call. I do like this. I really like having her leather jacket on. I really do love this. I love this first figure.
It's a good
Yeah.
figure.
It is.
really is.
I have two of them. I have one with the
Oh, nice.
helmet, and I
Nice.
have the other one with the leather jacket on. So, because I wanted to have variants, I really
The
like the
helmet is
figure.
so cool.
Yeah, she's very
Yeah,
affordable
I
now.
love
People
I
that
really
helmet,
like the
yeah.
figure, bro.
Yeah.
I like the figure. So, I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know
definitely.
what, you know what I mean? But, of course, people measure
Now,
the
did
actress and the
Sideshow get
character.
it?
I don't know. People were talking about there was a unsealed review, or they were doing a review on it or something like that. Is
They
that
did do an
Already done
unboxing
it,
on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
this
it's
one
gonna
they
be
did?
another 5 months.
Yeah, probably 5 months. But if Justin's
her,
saying that
yeah.
it was in such a low quantity, they might get it earlier,
Right.
right?
They might get it sooner for her. Low batch. Yeah.
Yeah, like a low batch. They'll probably get it in like.
I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, I think we've probably seen the last of that.
I wouldn't-
Like run of figures that Sideshow is getting that quickly.
Damn.
Maybe
Dustin just
this
shut
one,
it
maybe there's
down.
one or two left, but I think for the most part that's come and gone.
I like this right there, but I mean, I don't know.
It looks good. This is a good figure.
It looks really, really
Yeah,
good.
it's good.
You know, I know people were.
Whoever's photos these ones are, please turn the saturation down. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't look like it like that.
No.
Yeah, they've definitely.
He's so
They get
saturated.
they,
The sculpt looks very soft. I think it might be the photography. I don't know.
I think
I
it
think
is.
it's like
yeah,
that
but
Tom
this,
Holland.
Yeah.
look at the face
Sculpt.
here. This looks bad.
Yeah, the lighting on
Yeah,
this
it's not
one is a
good.
little bit.
they've
Yeah.
got to.
That's bad lighting.
That's not bad.
They've got to tell the photographers that are doing the blogger stuff, you can't go crazy with Photoshop to the point where the color representation is no longer accurate to the figure.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are where you can see it's like, wait a minute, this is so much more saturated than the initial product photos, but it's like only in this photo and then not that one and then this one. It's like it's very clearly you were going for an artistic effect and that's fine, but you have to also accurately represent the product that's being sold.
Well, that's
Yeah,
one of the
That's
great
when
things
they're going
about.
overboard.
Bullshit.
Well, that-
she's holding that gauntlet right there as well. By the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well, yeah,
very-
no, that's
Justin, surely.
100% Photoshopped.
That's a big.
Well, that's one of the great things about Ryan's photos is he doesn't go in and use Photoshop. I really feel that one of the great things about getting when Justin does a video using Ryan's
Correct. I don't
photographs,
touch any of his photos.
you feel like
Yeah.
you're seeing the real figure.
Here's the thing: if collectors want to do fun, creative photo shoots with their figures and then use Photoshop to kind of enhance things, then that's fine. But when you're using them as a marketing tool, you shouldn't be doing anything that a collector can't do in their own display. At least that's what
you can
I feel.
tell by looking at this actual picture right here. Like they have saturated it a little bit too much.
Yeah,
I think
like,
people that are more new to it though are going to see this and they're not thinking about that. They're just going to go, "That looks awesome," and I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Right,
part
but
of
then
the
you get
investment.
somebody who then buys it and is like, wait a minute, I can't make this look half as good as what I was hoping, and then they hesitate to buy something else.
That's why. Oh, I like
Yeah.
this right here. I like this
exactly
one. Yeah,
Yeah, I
this
think
is
the
cool.
photos make it look worse because the sculpt looks soft.
I
I
agree.
think that's the problem.
agree.
They did the same with Ray.
I was going to say you're right.
I-
Will the same thing with
I
Ray.
mean, yeah, like I think I saw, and actually it's funny. I saw the sideshow
Paul Rudd
unboxing,
Batman.
and I got to see a little bit more, accurate and realistic of a portrayal there. What it's going to look like out of the
That's a
box,
cool
right?
shot.
Like, and it looks
Yeah.
it looks better. Like I like this suit better than the original version, and both of them I think are going to be very affordable. The first one, I mean, it seems like Toys Wonderland can't even get rid of it. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
like people, this one I don't think is going to be much different than that. I mean, she's a great looking figure. I just don't think she's that popular of a character yet. Like I think that's the
Well,
consideration.
I mean,
most
yeah,
people-
I mean,
think
there's-
she's
she's
still got to
not-
build up her. She's not.
People also have Endgame burnout at this point.
They
'cause they've
do.
taken
Endgame
so
is 2
long to
years
put these
old. I
figures
mean,
out.
it's right, and yeah, they took so long. And like Justin said, with Loki and Iron
Look
Man,
at
I
the
think those are
saturate.
more-
That is just so over.
But she looks good. I like the suit better on this one. It's more flashy, and I like
Yeah.
it. I like it better.
The
Than
I
this.
love
suit's
the
good,
red.
but that
I love
the
the
colors are not accurate.
The red.
Right, I get what you mean.
I just hope that in the next film they keep the sash. Like, just keep it. Like, don't.
It's cool. We
augment
saw
the
it in
suit and change it
Shang-Chi.
again.
In Shang-Chi,
Yeah,
it
but we
was
saw
there.
her sitting down though. We didn't really see her standing up.
No, she
so
was
it's the
standing.
I don't
same.
even remember.
She was. I didn't
She
see
was
the
standing
sash
up,
though.
yeah. The
She
sash
did?
was there. The sash. I
Justin
made
saw
sure.
it more
Don't
recently
worry,
than
I
us,
made
Lael,
sure
he
to
went
look.
he went like a
Okay,
week
cool.
ago.
Cool. I just
Yeah,
hope
and I
they
watched
keep
it
it.
on.
I think people
Disney Plus,
responded
yeah,
so
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus
positively to
IMAX,
it.
so you can see more.
Yeah, I think they'll keep
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it looks pretty good though. Like, I mean, I already had this. It paid off anyway.
Did
what's
you
up?
get first batch for
Venom
this one?
Premiere.
What's up?
I got the tickets to the Venom premiere. I was waiting for Sony to send them, and I didn't think they were going to send them, but they sent them. So Sony, thank you. I am now going to the Venom premiere tomorrow.
Nice
Oh,
work.
okay.
Nice.
Which I know you've all already seen fucking Venom, but for me,
Not
down
me,
here,
Justin. I still haven't yet.
There you go.
It's coming out next
We
week
still don't have
for
it.
us Aussies. And it says popcorn and drink provided. Thank you.
Oh, there you go. Hopefully it's a
Exactly.
large.
Exactly. Everybody.
Maybe if they offer a lifetime supply of popcorn and a drink, then it would be worth going to that. But
Bring
otherwise, I
your-
think you have
Well,
a
you know
better
what?
seat just sitting on your shitter at home.
You know what? I'm just gonna have fun with it, Brendan. Let's not be nasty now. Come on, man.
Oh, come on, it's bad.
Trying to ruin
We got
my
100. We got
excitement.
124 people basically
Yeah, I like it.
watching right now, and now all those people, please hit the like button. But
Hit the
also,
like button.
not only just hit that like button, but go over to the Instagram page. Go over to the 16 Scale Man Instagram page and
Did
subscribe.
that not
Like
happen
just
for
be-
you, Lael? Come on, we're gonna
Huh?
get these people.
We got to
People
get this.
go
What I'm saying. Come on, man. Get over there right now. I mean, come on.
By the way, I just
This-
went to Instagram, and the first thing that popped up was Young Bum 73 and a badass
Posing session. Right?
Infinity endgame pose.
Yeah, I saw. Is that the one he has
I'm gonna
Thanos behind, like standing
Yes.
behind it? Yeah, I saw that one
Yes.
earlier.
Nice.
He has
go
all
have a
three of
look.
the Trinity. Yeah, it's decent. It's
Lay on
definitely
Instagram.
decent.
I'm gonna unfollow you.
But
Then
he
follow
doesn't.
you
He's
again,
not using the
just to
sad face
support.
Thanos.
Yeah,
That's
do
not
that.
how it works, Will.
Yeah, it's how it works.
That's not how it works.
You're gonna get a double
I
follow.
love
That's
that
not-
pose. I love that pose for Iron Man. It's just, it's nothing crazy. It's just
Yo.
you can
Nope.
feel the weight of like the tiredness. In it looks awesome.
I gotta
Anyway,
show you.
sorry.
Will.
Well, I hate to say I was not following 1/6 scale, man, but now I am.
Thank you so much, man.
I expect to
appreciate
follow
that.
back.
I was,
Yeah.
and I wasn't. Now I am again.
Yo,
So,
but so
it's all good. Lay.
Everybody
Let me-
follow Mythos Old Man Windu.
so
on
check it out. So this
Instagram.
is what Bob Dylan sent me. He was like, "Yeah, she got upgraded in so many different ways." He
I know.
said-
I knew someone was going to mention this.
Bro.
I like big butts. I cannot
Oh my
lie.
God.
You
Oh
other
my
ones can't
God.
deny. When a girl walks in with an
Bob
itty
Dylan,
bitty
bro.
round thing
Come
in
on,
your
man.
face, you get sprung.
Yo,
Yo.
is this what you were talking about, Justin?
Yes, it was. This is when the reason I knew that this figure came out was Philip sent me this photo. Nothing
he?
else.
This-
Toys Wonderland perf.
Look,
confirmed.
all I'm gonna say is if people are this focused
That's all I
on the
got.
ass
Just
for
this
the
photo.
6 scale
And I was
figure, they
like,
need to get laid a little bit more.
No, I would say I'm focused on the
man.
ass wherever I see it. Doesn't matter if it's 6 scale, 1-to-1 scale.
I definitely
I
prefer
like big
1-to-1
butts, and I
scale.
cannot lie.
Yo,
Hence, I'm from
hey,
Seattle.
that's crazy. That so I saw that. I was like, you know what? I can't with you today. But yes, so I mean, we got to release, we got to reveal. Like Hot Toys has been semi-busy, but they still didn't release some of the figures that I wanted. We still have no sign of Ahsoka. Let me ask you, Justin. Do you
Where's
think?
Batgirl?
Do you think? Where's Batgirl as well?
Exactly. Yes.
Although I did get my finally my Harley, Arkham Harley, she's actually shipping, so thank God for that.
Hey,
But-
there we go.
Justin, let me ask you, do you think that we
Yes.
will get Ahsoka before the year's out?
Yes.
Clock is winding down.
You think we will?
Yes. I think we'll get Ahsoka. I think we'll get Gold Number Wonder Woman because they said that we would. And
Yeah.
they've never really said anything like that before, but they issued that statement saying it's delayed, it's coming out this year. They
Yeah.
said October to December or whatever it was. Batgirl,
Yeah.
Ahsoka, Wonder Woman. Waiting a lot of female figures. Come on, Hot Toys, let's get them done.
Yeah.
Who the hell else are we waiting for? Loki.
Loki.
I don't think
Pennywise.
I don't think Pennywise is this year.
Oh,
honestly-
Don't say that, Justin. Don't say that.
Why
That's
do you have to just stop with holiday cheer, man?
Look at
I
Will's
know.
face.
That's how I cheer. I'm done.
I know.
I'm
Well,
done.
is that a cheer I can see, Will?
Look at Will's face. He's just,
He's left to a look
Yo.
at Pennywise.
Look at the Toya said, "Look at Rob rapping Sir Mix-a-Lot."
I decided to forgive.
I wouldn't
Justin.
call that rapping, Toya. That was
Thank you, Will.
that was me like.
I thought you
Shatner
went to look
rapping.
at your half scale Pennywise.
Oh,
or
Will,
something,
how-
or wherever it was.
It's right
Will,
there. You
how
wanna get it?
heartbroken?
No,
How
no, 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 no,
heartbroken
no, no,
would
no.
you be
All good.
if Pennywise gets released and turns out to be absolute shit?
Oh
How
yeah,
heartbroken
dude.
would you be?
Dude, because after I saw what was the figure, the Flash, Civil War, or not Civil War, the CW Flash.
CW.
Right? I saw
yeah,
that.
there you go. Civil
Yeah,
War.
and I was like, might as well be Civil War. I
Dude,
saw that and
people
I
are
was like,
crazy. It's a good figure.
oh, is it good? I don't know.
I've got it
I haven't
right
seen the
behind
show,
me.
so I don't know.
Look, I'm telling you, there were pictures and stuff online that made the color contrast between the sections look so much more stark than it
still-
really
it's
is.
pretty stark though. Brendan.
It's still.
I've
wrong.
got it right here, and he looks great next to Green Arrow. I'm totally
he
fine with that
does.
figure.
I
Totally.
love it too, but
Yeah.
I think we're forgiving it just because there are so many good things where we start to forget about the things that
I completely agree that they went too far with that, and it's inexcusable that they didn't do a split cut ankle. Inexcusable.
Absolutely.
So, like, I'm not like those are faults, and
And the masked
absolutely
head
they
is
should be
terrible.
called out for. The masked head sculpt, I don't mind actually, because the way I kind of look at it too is like when he's running on the show, the CG of his face is kind of bad too.
CGI is bad.
So
So
I'm kind of
the
like,
figure has
it's
to look bad
accurate.
that because of that.
The things we excuse as collectors, I can't even.
That
Well,
was a
but-
pretty good one.
But
though,
I'm
I gotta
guilty of
say.
it too. I'm guilty of it too. Not gonna lie, I'm guilty.
Well,
of it.
hey, here's the thing. Like, so
Missing
I
it.
have I didn't get the Return of the Jedi like Luke from Hot Toys. I actually had the one that Sideshow made back in the day, and people were like, "Oh, that one's not really that accurate." I'm like, well, to be honest, the Sideshow not that accurate head sculpt that I have on that 6 scale now actually kind of looks like it's Luke Skywalker with the CG from that. So I'm like, now it kind of works. So, you know, but yeah, I understand, like, we'll make certain concessions if we want a character desperately in our collection and we don't think we're going to get another source for it. And personally, there are things that I like a lot more about this one than the So-So Toys one that I'm willing to go with this one over that one. And it's like you've said before, Justin, it's like, well, that's the best representation of that version of the character
Correct.
that I have available to me right now. So
I don't know.
I'm going to take it.
Justin,
It's
are
close.
you serious though? Are you trying to just break my heart live on the live stream, or are you really thinking that Pennywise is not?
Yo,
I'm
Will,
sorry, Will.
the one
I just
thing
don't
is,
think.
mate-
I just don't think it's.
Because Rob wants him
yeah.
too. I know
They
he does.
can't release a horror character during the holidays, though. A
But they don't
child
They can.
killing.
They
You can
don't
give it
care.
to Chris.
But-
You can get out
alien
Christmas
monster.
gifts.
But
it totally works.
that's not a case in China. They don't care about our holidays.
Yeah, they don't.
like,
Yeah, they don't.
otherwise, they would have released Pennywise around Halloween.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a thing for them. They
How
don't
many-
care about that.
How many figures get delayed by a full year? Does that happen frequently? I've never seen that. I don't think.
Oh, hang on now.
Gamora, right?
Was she a full
Maybe
year?
was it
Superman,
Gamora?
Justice League, Superman.
Superman,
Hulk
Justice League,
Buster.
Superman was that
Yeah.
exactly.
But a full year though? 'Cause
Hulkbuster was
that-
like
Yeah.
5 years.
This
Yeah.
seems pretty.
Dude, can we
this seems
talk
pretty
about my
sensitive.
Thanos throne that I ordered? It's just the throne. I've been waiting.
And
for
you
that for
still
a
haven't
year.
gotten
But
it
what
yet.
about the
Year and
one
a
you
half,
ordered,
it's
Rob,
never
in like
come in.
2004 or something from Sideshow and still haven't gotten?
Oh yeah, that was Echo. Was fives
it's still
and Echo.
pending.
It's still pending. My pending
Yeah.
order since 2014.
It's rare, Will, but
That's
it
some
does
kind of-
happen.
Yeah, right.
And it just turns out that it happened on the one that you most want.
Right, right. That makes sense. Though.
So, yeah, there has been a full year on a couple of figures, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Like straight up. Like I'm so scared that
I think Gamora holds the record right now, right? For like the longest.
Was it Guardians?
Well,
2 or
no,
Guardians?
Pre-order?
no. Well,
I think she passed Hulkbuster.
Killmonger was almost just as long. Like
No,
literally.
Really?
Yeah, Killmonger was like a year.
Yeah, it wasn't that because they decided to do the Michael B. Jordan head sculpt.
Yeah,
They
they
it
had to
wasn't in
fix
the
it
original.
too. Yeah.
Well, also they fixed it because remember there was
They
an
definitely
actual
changed the
photo
suit,
leaked,
too.
and then people just went crazy over it, and then they delayed that again. You know what I mean? To I guess fix and modify certain things. So it was a delay on that as well. But
And then they
I mean,
changed the patterning on the suit a little bit, made it a little bit more pronounced, and everybody was up in
Gold,
arms. And
yeah.
they hate this, and then got it in hand. They're like, "Oh man, this Killmonger
Yeah.
looks fucking amazing. Maybe we should slow our roll a little bit."
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I
Yeah,
loved
and then we get
So-
something like the Spider-Armor
Yeah.
figure in like 4 months. So I
Yeah.
don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Carlos
What's going on over
Burgos
there.
says the new Spider-Man will not be available until March of 2023, more than a year after the movie. Bro, where you been? Welcome to our world.
it's
Come
going to
on.
be a year and a
That's
half
how-
after the movie.
yeah, that's how
minimum.
it goes.
Yeah.
The black suit will be available like a month or two after the movie. So if you want something Spider-Man No Way Home and you want something that's going to stand out on your shelf, that is the one because it will be
a great
available
suit.
like now.
Right away.
It will be
Yeah.
available any. I wouldn't be surprised if that thing releases around the same time as the movie.
I
And
wish
I'm
they
all
did
for
that
it.
more. Yeah, I wish
But
they did that more.
we're
Yeah,
seeing that in statues and everything else too. I mean, you think about it. Like I ordered the Queen Studio half scale cap from Endgame, which came out 2 years ago, and that's not going to be out until the end of next year. So there are some things that come really, really fast. And then you look at like some of the statues like that like you guys are getting for like the Suicide Squad line, right? I mean, the movie came out, but those aren't coming out for another year.
Right.
So a year after something comes out, like a film comes out, for collectibles to come out then, that's not unheard of at all. Now, when you're pushing 2-3 years, that's a little crazy, but
Yeah.
All right,
That's
so a quick question. I'm gonna start with you, John. Okay, because I want to get on topic of what we're going to actually discuss tonight. Because, like I said, it is a bit. It's divisive amongst a lot of people, and possibly even divisive amongst the community, but in a good way, because I basically feel as though if you have your preference is perfectly fine. If you know, you can be a dynamic poser, or you can be a standard museum, guy who just doesn't want to pose anything. But John, I'm gonna start with you since you're a fellow poser, and I brought these figures out because we have them both. This is basically what we posed up on your show on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
We'll and during that time we'll ducked in secretly to try to get some ideas, right?
Yeah, it did.
Because we did see.
I was watching while I was driving, actually.
Yeah, so we did.
Good thing I didn't hit
see that,
anybody.
right? So
Yeah.
again, so we had a session with posing these figures up. So John, let me ask you a question, bro. Like, point blank, poser or museum? Are you a dynamic poser or are you a museum guy?
Poser or a noser?
I think I'm definitely a poser. That's
You're
why
a
I thought I'd
poser.
bring the heat today.
Yeah, I really love that. I love all three of them together. That triptych
that-
pose
That
is
is
really, really
fire.
cool.
You
That,
definitely
this
brought some heat
stealth
today.
suit, he wants to fall over. He could fall over any second because he's literally balancing just on his tippy toes.
I love it.
That's right.
Yeah, I love posing them up. Like, just watching the trailer last night, I was like, I got to do something.
John, stop
I've been
right
wanting
there.
to get the Queen
John, can
Studio
you go back?
Spider-Man.
Can
you
you
go
tilt it
back
back?
like an inch, John? Now go a little forward a little bit, a little tiny bit. Stop right there. Now, even if I was looking at I didn't know you had a third. That image of the two of those figures, just like that,
Is incredible.
is dope.
Is
I mean, that is really
Incredible.
cool.
Is incredible.
And that I think that when you, I mean, museum poses to me don't say anything, and I think one of the things when you have even figures out on a shelf is you want to create some, something.
Yeah.
You want to have some emotion,
Mhm.
and that's the point of having Hot Toys figures. When you display them, they can convey a scene.
Yeah.
They can tell a
Yeah.
story, and like that pose right there
Look at Will Justice face.
just looks awesome. I mean, look at that.
Thank you.
And that's
Yeah,
not
100%.
that's not an outlandish pose,
Mm-mm.
but
No.
it takes your figures and
It
elevates
just gives them
them.
elevate. Yeah, it
to
elevates
something-
and gives them a certain level of
Yeah.
You just give them something, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look at
Well, for me, that's what
give
I
them some
like to do,
presents,
like-
bro. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for me,
agree.
I like to play. Like, for me, a part of the collecting is I have a set time every morning that I get to myself. I wake up nice and early for it, and I get to play. I like doing photos, making videos. Like, that's the enjoyment I
do you
get.
do
from it.
soundtrack music with your mouth?
Uh,
Because I do.
no, I don't.
I do.
I'm
I've
open
done it
to
my whole life. I can't help it.
Come on.
open to it.
OG. It's OG. Rob,
But
it's an
see,
OG thing,
I
bro.
look at that. To me, the whole thing about having figures that are this good. I mean, I understand the problem that I have with people that it's not a problem, but museum poses a lot of the time. Even a museum pose has to be good.
Yeah.
You can't just
There's
take
lots to
a
it.
figure. If you just take a figure out of the bag and or box and have them like this, you've got to like turn him and
Yeah.
at least
At
Yeah,
least
give her a little-
twist the waist a tad
something.
bit, or
You
just
got to do something.
arc the foot or arc the hand and push it up. If it's a museum pose, give it some level of presence.
You have to
Don't just have
convey
it
that-
stand there like an old school GI Joe figure, bro. Like,
No,
it just,
you have to convey realism as if
Yeah.
they're real.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, a
well, for
museum
me,
pose
like,
can be great, but it's got to look like it's a real person.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I completely agree. Like, and I'm also really into the body movement and the human movement. So I think that plays a part in me liking to pose, because I'm trying to create and seeing if I can create like realistic, cool looking things
Exactly.
with these things. So
Yeah.
that's what it's about for me. Coincidentally, in my display, I have them pretty much in museum poses. When I'm not doing stuff like this, because I do it so often. When I'm not using them, I like to keep them just pretty standard standing, because no one's coming into my room looking at them at the minute. So I'll get them out and play with them and then pose them up, and then at the minute I put them back in the display until I get my new display. I put them back in the display, just relax, so they can, like with Spidey, the suit can heal, and it does. It
But
bounces
even though
back.
it's relaxed, don't you still have them like, instead of just having them stand like this?
Oh
you
yeah,
just
of
make-
course.
Yeah, see, there's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
there. Even though it's museum, there's
Maybe
still
a
a
walking
pose
pose.
there.
Yeah,
There's still a
Exactly.
pose.
So let me ask you a question, John. When do you decide? Do you decide what figures are or should stay stationary museum, and what figures are? Do you know what figures would be just completely museum, and distinguish that from figures that should have a bit of dynamic?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it at my collection now. I've got pretty old dynamic characters. Like I have Mando in pretty relaxed poses at the moment, but I did a body mod on him, so he can pose really well, and I really like posing him up for that. But like Cap's one that you can, he looks really good in a stoic pose. So I've got Infinity War Cap just chilling, whereas I've got the other Captain Americas doing lots of stuff. So I kind of just mix it up, and I try to find moments of the film that I like, or an image that I've seen in a comic book or something that I want to recreate. Like this all started because I want to get the Queen Studio Spider-Man with the cap shield, and I've been sitting. It's been sitting in cart, and I'm just like, yesterday I was like on the edge, and I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it.
It's
And I
real
thought, Let me
nice.
just see. Let me just see if I can do it with this, and see how close I can get.
Our host
And
is
Lost
gone.
Lael.
I just
Oh,
want to
no.
say, like,
There he is.
here's a museum pose.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
but I still have his hands behind his
I'm out
back,
for some
like
reason.
he's addressing the
Just went
crowd.
right out. Hold on.
yeah,
It's a real
know what I
classy
mean?
figure, Rob. I need to get that.
that is cool.
It's yeah, I mean, and I have his hands clasped behind his back, like he's saying something regal.
Yeah.
And he's got
That
there
is
are
cool.
wires in here, so I did kind of move them around. But to me,
Yeah.
this is a museum pose, but it's still,
Yeah,
you,
it's telling a
have
story.
you have
It's the same thing like with Krennic or Tarkin, where you don't need
Yes.
something crazy dynamic, but just one simple kind of like Krennic, just kind of holding his hand like that,
Yes,
or holding,
exactly.
that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Tarkin with his hands behind his back, just like you have right there. Those things,
Yeah.
it brings the character out. Just a small movement. Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's the beauty
yeah.
of
This
these things that
this
we
figure, by
collect.
the way,
You
was
can do
never
so much.
released in the United States.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
they didn't have the rights, so it was only released in, I believe, in Asia.
Right.
How's the
Maybe in Europe.
sculpt on that?
Here, I'll bring it close. I mean, remember, this is from 2006.
Okay, that
Mhm.
all right. That's
Mhm.
That looks good.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah,
yeah.
can
We
hear
could hear
Yeah.
you the whole time.
Yeah,
dude.
boy.
All right, yeah, I couldn't. If for some reason my audio cut out, but it's back. So we're.
I
good.
mean,
For
it's
2006. That's
it-
good for 2006.
It's pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
That's nice, man.
I think for me, it just comes down to like a pose that embodies the personality of the character. That's
Yes,
really
absolutely.
what it is. Like, I mean, it's
Absolutely.
like you want something that recreates the character's presence on screen, whether that's a museum pose or dynamic pose. It just depends on the character. And then for me, I know Justin's pretty much the same as me in that, like, there's also one of the greatest considerations for, at least for us and for a lot of people, is the integrity of the figure. So, like, if I feel like I'm going to put a Spider-Man in a dynamic pose, yeah, Spider-Man should be in a dynamic pose, but the limitations of the figure like make me a little bit more worried. Could it rebound? Sure, but at the same time, not really willing to risk that. So
So
Right.
let me ask
Yeah.
you a question, then, Will, because
Yeah.
you have we both have, the Force Awakens, Kylo Ren.
yeah, sure.
Okay, so as you can see, I have him posed. Now this is the pose I've actually had him in since I've had this figure. I have never reposed him,
Yeah,
but it's the same thing. So what I did was earlier, because I wanted to test the theory, pulled
Yeah.
him out and I put him in a museum pose to see how it would look. Still same integrity, nothing damaged. And then I put him back the same way. So this is what I'm saying. Like, there are certain figures, and I understand, like, when it comes to protecting the integrity of the figure, and you want to do so. I get that. But there are certain figures that you can push those limits, and it
Oh, yeah.
doesn't affect. I've had these things for years, and there's no problems.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? But again, the difference is because I do understand how some, collectors do want to keep, their figures, and they, some are extra cautious about it. I understand. But as a poser, I understand there's certain things that you can do. The science behind even posing and what atmosphere you should actually have that figure in when you're doing posing, because it doesn't damage the figure. If you look at my Spider-Man display, all of them dynamic, and nothing's been damaged, and the suit fully folds back into position to where it should be, and I've had them that way for a year.
Lael, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I don't know what the climate's like in Harrisburg. I know you're in a basement. Is it cool and
Yeah,
Yes, it
real,
is.
real cool
Yes,
down
it
there.
is.
and
Yes,
so
it
there's
is.
no sunlight either, probably.
There's no sunlight. There's no extra moisture down here. It's just nice and cool.
Yeah,
It's
which is
nice and
that's
cool.
probably the best
and
way to keep
that's the
figure.
best way to keep the figure. You keep them in an atmosphere where it's nice, cool. There's no issues, and that's just the way it's been so far. But even with saying that, I do understand why some people would be cautious about, you know, how they display their figures. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I'm gonna move this to Justin next. This is gonna be interesting. Okay,
Hello.
Justin,
Yes.
you are the museum guy, correct?
I'm a bit of both. When the
You're a bit of
character
both.
demands, like we were discussing, when we can embody the character like a Darth Vader, for instance, just the hands
Yeah.
on the belt boxes,
Yeah.
classic,
Classic.
iconic
Classic.
Darth Vader.
But that's not. Would you
And-
call that a museum pose?
I would.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, why not?
Because
if he's not in a
I would
fighting
say,
pose, it's not.
but that's
it's
a
not
character
dynamic.
pose.
Yeah,
It's
I
museum
guess.
style.
I guess.
That's a,
But they're
that's a
not
good
mutually
term.
exclusive.
I like
Yeah, I don't.
that.
That's why I think
like
there's a
that.
combination of the two.
So you
Well,
and you
I
bring
agree.
Rob, you bring up a very
Character pose.
interesting
Thank
point.
you, Rob.
Character poses from dynamic poses and stuff like that, or museum.
Yeah.
So a character pose is totally different from a museum pose. Would you agree?
Well, I mean, I think to me,
Somewhat.
you
I
pose
think we're splitting hairs, but yeah.
But I mean,
I
I
mean,
think that what you want is you want to convey as good as the figure is. When you display them, you want to convey who that character is as well through your pose. And with Spider-Man, obviously, Spider-Man lends himself. If you're thinking Todd McFarlane's work on the book, you want it to look very McFarlane-esque because that's what Spider-Man is. I mean, there's no real way without if you're just having Spider-Man, if you have a head sculpt with Peter Parker, then you can do he's standing there on his phone or doing something.
Yeah, holding
funny.
the mask or on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you put the mask on and you have him standing there, well, that's not fun.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
let me
that
give you an
doesn't
example.
convey.
Hold on.
All right.
Case in point, though, is so would you consider this a museum pose, a
No.
character pose, or
No,
both?
that's a
'Cause to me,
character
it's
pose,
both.
man.
That's a
He's-
character
But
pose.
it's also
That's a
but it's-
character pose.
I think it's both.
Yeah, but
Because
he's
there's no damage, he's
slouching
just-
in his chair. He's in character.
So this is my
Right.
Spidey.
But-
I
but
don't
the
know if you
character
That's a
guys-
museum
pose-
pose what Justin has. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
well, see, it's a character
He's still
pose
got-
still.
He's still
Yeah.
got some flair. He's not
Exactly. He
Yes,
still
well,
has
this is
presence.
what I like
He has
to do.
presence.
This
Yeah.
is what I
And
like.
Just-
you've
Can I-
had to pick that pose out. That was something you
Yeah,
worked
that's
on.
a
and-
pose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
I was
like
gonna
this.
say-
And think about Palpatine and his throne.
Yeah.
Right? It's not dynamic. He's not doing something crazy. He's
Yeah.
just sitting in the throne like he does in the movie. So to me, it's a character pose, but it's also museum in that it's not dynamic. There's no danger to the suit or to the
Yeah.
body of the figure. So I don't think that museum and character poses are mutually exclusive. I think it just
Right.
depends on what you're going for. If it can somehow embody the character itself, like him just kind of sitting I don't give a fuck in the chair like that, it
Yeah.
works as both. And so you don't
Yeah.
need to have something that's crazy, bendy,
That's right.
and dynamic and stuff like that for this. You don't need it.
Well,
So-
I
Well,
did
he
the
doesn't
same
do
thing,
stuff
like
like
that.
I have
Question.
Shuri behind me,
Yeah.
right, and I have her feet crossed, and she's got a spear here, and she's kind of kicking in the throne of Wakanda, she's a badass, and yet
Yeah.
she's just sitting there. But I think it's
I kind of think. Sorry to cut you off, Rob. I
No,
was just
that's
going to say. I think a museum pose for me, how I define it, is someone who doesn't do anything. Like Justin, your Spider-Man pose. There's lots of nuances to that. You've tweaked
Yeah.
the arms, you've twisted the hips. There's a lot of movement in that. Because
Right.
when I
You
play
need to
around
do
with
that.
it, yeah, he doesn't come out of the box like that. So I think I define a museum pose as someone who does nothing with it and doesn't think about how
Just
the human
straight up
body
and down.
moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
Like
straight
you
up.
literally
It's
pull it out of the
just
box
standing
and just
there.
stand it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, that's what a museum pose is. I think
And I know
character
people who do
poses
that.
and
I do
like
too, and it
you
drives
want
me
to do
crazy.
The thing is, and when I see it, I don't say anything, and I try not to say too much, but I'm away, especially if I see it. But it's just I'm in my head. I'm like, there's so much more. Even if you want to keep it in just a standard pose, just raise the arm a little bit, tweak the hands a little bit. Don't
Well, that's
have it
what
looking like
people-
this is a.
That's
You know
what
what I mean?
people don't realize is you don't have to go with some crazy pose that it's insane, like Wolverine, perfect. I don't really need to do more than that. He's got the claws out, little forward momentum, boom, you're good to go. I don't
But
need
that's
to
a
do
cool
more than that.
pose, though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that you don't they don't have to be crazy complex
By
and
the way, how
all
great is that
contorted.
figure? How great is that Days of Future Past figure?
The sculpt on this is phenomenal. I got this for a steal a couple of years back on eBay. this figure is like it's the best Wolverine that I have. I mean, I've got like the Sideshow like comic one and stuff, but like this, nothing touches this for me.
I have all 4 of the Hot Toys Wolverines, and I think I like that one the best.
Oh yeah, I've seen the other ones, and by far I like this one the best. I absolutely love
So
it.
let me
pose a
ask you a
question?
question. Yeah, well, I was going to ask you
you
a
have a
quick
question
question,
too.
Justin. So
Okay.
I'm going to show you something, and I want you to. Okay, so
Okay.
would you label? Let me single myself really quick. So would you label this a?
As awesome? Yes.
Yeah, dude, that's
A
a
for
that's a
awesome.
great
That's a
pose,
that's a
dude.
dynamic. That's a character pose.
Yeah,
That waist clamp is gonna make mincemeat of those legs, though. I promise you that.
Well, not really, because I don't have them in tight, and there's a certain thing that I did with it. The reason why it won't, and I even, to be quite
That's
honest,
neat.
Justin, I had this at first around the waist, and it was perfectly fine for an entire year, and it was perfectly fine. But there's something that I do with it in order to keep it that way. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't do it to every figure. Like I haven't these waist clamps. I haven't had a problem with one figure yet, but
have
it
had a lot.
depends. It depends on the climate that you keep the figure in. You know what I mean?
True.
Like to me, and I always
Right.
try to use the waist clamp totally different so I can avoid these type of things. You know what I
I'm
mean?
so happy to have that figure. God, I love that figure.
It's a really
That's
good
such
one.
a good pose.
It is.
man.
The head sculpt for Evangeline Lilly is gorgeous for that figure too.
Now
Yeah,
I-
I might have to use that. head
with
sculpt.
Ant-Man. So when you look at Ant-Man, right?
That aspect
So-
too.
Now it's just, but it's just it's not too much, and it's not pushing it past or whatever. And I've had this in crazy, well, not crazy poses, because the outfit or the tailoring is it's really restrictive in this suit. It's restricting. But my thing is, okay, so we're talking about it, and especially when we look at her, it is a character pose. It's not too dynamic. It's just a regular character pose. But when we get into Spider-Man, the expectation is for it to be dynamic because of the poses that he can actually pull off. Like Thanos, basically there's not much dynamic there. You know what I mean? He's just a smash. Whatever. He just wants to kill. But when we get to Spider-Man, there's dynamic there.
See, I think we need to readjust our definition of dynamic. To me, I don't think dynamic has to mean crazy movement. I think dynamic has to mean that it represents the character. That
Yes.
the dynamics of the character is communicated through the pose that you have. And I
I
think
Bring
very
them
much
alive.
agree.
if you do
Love it
that,
when they
then
come
to me that just makes more sense, because if you can capture Spidey in a cool pose that doesn't require a ton of motion and bending and stuff, that's dynamic to me. That's the character.
Well, John's pose of the homemade Spider-Man that is there in the foreground. I
Homemade
think
is
that's
a
a great.
great example.
That's a
Rob.
great
Yeah.
pose. I mean, to me, that's a great pose. It
Yeah.
conveys the character. It's not too crazy, but it's fun. It's action. You look at it, and it conveys a moment in time.
Let
the,
me-
the pose of Spidey pointing that you can do, like you've got the 2099,
Yeah.
you can do the pointing. That's a dynamic
Damn, look at that
character
Modgy
pose
case.
to me.
Man, that Modgy case
Yeah.
gives me a Woody.
That's a really
It's
nice
nice.
setup.
Toy Story?
Let me
you know.
single. I'm going to single that real
Yeah,
quick.
that kind of
Justin.
a Woody.
You'll know when you. You'll
Gives
know
me a
when
Buzz
you handle the
Lightyear,
figure
too.
which
Buzz
one
Lightyear.
can and cannot do
Yeah.
the pose that you want it to. Hold on, let me get rid of the glass. The glass is giving you a ton of glare. Or the
Now, Justin,
It
I
looks
know
great.
that these are
That Venom.
custom
Ooh.
Modgy cases, but is that a fit? You've got the shelves in the back as well.
how do you? What's an easy way of?
I think he does, Rob. I think he has a shelf and then he has a
That
couple
is,
risers.
I mean, that is just
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
If people want to,
Ah,
God damn,
look at
if
Yes,
people
I
want
do
to
have the shelf.
understand why we love Modgy cases and Hot
And
Toys,
this
you don't look any
stupid
further than
thing
this.
Keeps falling down. This stupid little dongle in the middle. I followed your advice, Brendan, and it didn't work.
What did
The
you do?
electrical tape is not strong enough to hold it up.
Oh, I use Gorilla Tape.
Double-sided
well, you
Gorilla,
know,
bro.
I used to play-
Use double-sided Gorilla
My
tape,
bad.
bro.
I use
Alright,
Gorilla
I'll go
Tape
and
and
get
it stays
some-
perfectly.
Gorilla
Yeah.
tape
Alright,
is
I'll
very
go
strong.
and
Yeah.
Get some
Yeah.
more tape.
That
Anyway,
homemade
you'll
suit's
know.
beautiful.
This is
man.
just this is such a cool display, and
It
to
is.
me, there's a great combination of poses that are not
Yeah.
necessarily dynamic, but then you look at the homemade suit that you got there. You look
You
up
know which
above to
ones
the
can and can't
Spider-Man
do it,
3.
right?
What's that?
You know which ones you inherently know when you open something out of the box. You know if you can do it safely, and that's what I'm all about. Just like, say for instance, if you have a performance car, like my car's considered the performance variant of my car. I can take it to the track, and I can drive it like a lunatic, and I really
don't
want
want
to. But if I do take it there, I know that after I'm finished, I will need new brakes, I will need new tires, I'll probably need a bit of a paint job correction because of all the rubber that gets flicked up onto the paintwork.
Yeah.
I'm just coming from the mindset of if something is pricey and I can still get the maximum enjoyment out of it while not risking it getting destroyed, then I will do that.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe it'll be okay, but I don't like maybe. I'm not a huge fan of
Can we
maybe.
also just take a second to appreciate how awesome the deluxe base is for the stealth suit Spidey? Like,
Yeah, it's great.
Hot Toys nailed that.
But I also want to
Baby.
say, you know what I love about this, Justin? I love that this is the reason why when you have multiple figures and you put them together like this, you've actually conveyed a scene that actually it's almost like a great fresco that was painted in the 18th century you'd see hanging in the Louvre. This elicits
It's
an
the
emotional
Spider-Verse.
it elicits an emotional response.
It's an Alex Ross painting. Right?
Yes, and when you look at it, it's like, man, this is why people wonder, why do you collect action figures? This right here is why we collect figures. This display.
Yeah.
And
there's the half Spidey head. If you're wondering what it would look like, Will.
There
I
you
think
go.
It works quite well.
People do use it.
yeah,
I think that's a really smart thing for Hot Toys to include.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you know what this shows me? But this really shows me that deep down, I mean, Justin understands dynamic. This is my point. He does, even though he
That's his
doesn't
story.
lean towards it, he understands dynamic poses and presence. That was my point. You know what I
And
mean?
it's also not just about looking at a figure in isolation, because you can have
Right.
some that would be considered in a museum pose, but when you put all this together into a display,
Right,
that's
yeah.
dynamic as fuck.
now,
Yeah, it's a story.
Yeah.
I think
Justin,
Right
I'm
on.
going to show you something that you're not going to like.
Oh,
You probably
okay.
won't like this.
this just
okay?
makes me realize I need GF120s.
Before you do, can I pose a question?
Yeah. go ahead.
Everyone here, raise your hand if you have a case and or a screen protector on your phone. How many of you have a screen protector on your phone?
I don't.
I
Yep.
actually don't. I have a case.
Okay.
I have a case, but I don't have a screen protector.
Case or a screen protector?
Yes.
I don't have
Case.
either at the
Yeah.
moment, but I
Will,
usually have a case.
Rob,
but-
John does, and Lael. There you go. You're protecting your investment. I think that this is kind of the same thing because you don't want to run the risk of damaging. Yes,
That's
you
fair.
can use it without those things, and it's the way it was meant to be used. Because Apple spends, or whoever is your thing, spends a whole bunch of money designing it, the feel, the materials, and then you cover it up with a cheap bit of plastic. It's the same way with figures. So
Fair
if
point.
you're willing to do it with your figures, then why aren't you willing to do it with your phone?
Rob, do you
I get
have
it.
do you have risers in your Module case?
I do, but I use
You don't like them?
I use Hot Toys boxes covered in black velvet.
So
So-
what I was gonna say is what
But I also
do in mine,
I do have clear plastic, risers
like the
as well.
acrylic. Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
I just never like the way those look. What I do is, and I'm in the process of making some more. I get some pre-cut lumber
Yeah.
at Home Depot, and then I cut it again
Yep.
just so I have it the size that I want it, and then I just wrap this in the self-adhesive velvet, like that they use for jewelry, like
Yep.
drawers and stuff like
Yep.
that. It matches the shelf of the
Yep,
Module
for the
case
absolutely.
perfectly. And so then it looks like you don't even see them because it just looks like it was built into it, and they work perfectly in Module cases.
Elizabeth took me to she goes, there's like secondhand fabric stores. And so I was like, really? What do I know? So we went there and they have swaths of fabric, and I was looking, they have all different kinds of like blacks or whatever, and that's what I was looking for. And the same thing. I mean, I was just using Hot Toys boxes or smaller boxes because I've got so many boxes. Like, where do you put them? Like, put them in a Module case, and it's great to make them tiered, and not just Hot Toys boxes, but like so boxes are
Yep.
sometimes shorter. And what's great is they can make shelves, and you can put things around them, and so. But
Yeah.
yes, I mean,
For
I
the
pose
for
back
the
up, Lael. I wanna talk
self-adhesive
about it.
velvet,
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
bring it back
got-
up. I'm gonna bring it back up.
Okay, good.
15.8 inches wide by 158 inches long. on Amazon for $20.
Yeah.
So, Justin, I want you to see this real quick.
Yeah.
So
That's a great
Dope
one. I want
pose,
to talk
by the
about
way.
this for sure.
you're
for
not okay. So listen. Now I reposed this the other day, and this, believe it or not, I did this the day before they released the actual trailer. I sent this to Will, because I wanted him to see it because I knew I was going to actually have this topic. Now this is all inside of a DTOF. Okay,
Right.
so I have Mysterio in the back, I have Doc Ock, and then I have Spike. So this right here is just me creating an actual scene. Now below it you see Cap and you see Thanos, but above it, this is what it is right now. Is this something that annoys you?
I'm going to tell you what I like and what I don't like about this. But before I do, some people I've already seen in the chat's been whizzing by, and C3PO said it recently. Figures you can't pose may as well be statues. No. You can pose them. You can. That is your choice not to pose. It's not a statue because you can. It's a personal choice. Because you are choosing not to pose, it doesn't mean, or it's not even not to pose. It's you're still posing it in a way. We've discussed that a bunch here. It's not the same thing because you can change accessories, you can change head sculpts, you can change outfit parts. It's absolutely not the same thing. So I really don't like that comment that
Otherwise,
people say
power
about,
pose figures wouldn't exist either.
Correct. You may as well just get a statue. Absolutely not the same thing because we want it made out of proper fabric. We want the realism that Hot Toys brings. We buy Hot Toys and they make Hot Toys for the realism, not for posing. That is a secondary thing. It's a tertiary thing. It comes after the character because we don't buy it just because, I have a pose, therefore I want this figure. No, you want the character in your display. Yep. That is why you're buying it, and you want a figure because you have the option to change the pose. Just because you choose not to, doesn't mean that you should have gotten a statue. Anyway, that comment always fires me up because you may as well buy a statue. I hate that. Anyway, I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like.
You need to put the black Matrix glasses on when you come down like that.
Yeah, I will. I'll get some Matrix.
Do a back.
But how much fun is this, though?
It is fun. The thing I like most about this is the interaction. You're telling a story. It's Spidey versus Ock. I love that. I love the interaction. The thing that I don't like is one of the reasons why I returned my Prime 1 Aquaman statue. Because sometimes you're buying it to see the whole character. So for me, my display is kind of museum-esque, I guess. Everyone is standing front on and you can see all of them. And that's why I do what I do, is because I want to see all of everyone. So yes, the interaction is badass and I love the way it looks, but then again, half of Spidey and half of Ock is hidden. So that is kind of the two mindsets that you can have when it comes to poses like this, a face-off pose. It looks badass, but then you're losing potentially half of the figure. And Mysterio's also, he's back there. But Doc Ock's tentacle, I'm sure it's better in person because I'm guilty of this too. When in person, you can actually move your head. Versus in photo, you cannot. But Mysterio, if they were all three standing there and Mysterio was up in the air, you would arguably be able to see them better, right?
But that's an interesting philosophical point that you make.
That's what I'm saying. There's two schools of thought there.
Yeah, and I think that
I get it.
But I think that I come from more of a storytelling standpoint. I know
the Ryan R's comment. Who cares, honestly? It's your money. You do what you want. Oh, I don't care what you do with your figures. I honestly don't care. You want to destroy it, you go for it. I'm just saying, we personally have our own choices. Honestly, I'm not saying that you are wrong or you are right. You do whatever you want. I don't ever subscribe to anyone telling you what to do.
Just let everybody else do what they want as well.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. So
But see, I look at this. I look at this to me, and this conveys fun. It's a fun pose. I know that Lael had a fun time putting this together, and I bet after you were done with it, you probably looked at it for 10 minutes, thinking, "God damn, this is cool."
It was. Here's the thing for me, and I get what you're saying, Justin. I totally respect that, but again, for me, it's different. It strikes different for me because I'm a storyteller. I'm a storyteller in every sense of the word. So for me, I have it's a personal thing, and I'm looking at it because it's my niche. I'm a poser. That's just this basically the way it is.
No, you're real, dude.
And I love to pose figures. You know what I mean? That's just basically where I'm at. So when I have these things displayed, I like looking at the story that I've created because I can see it by memory, or even when I'm asleep, I'm always dreaming about different things that I can do, you know, to kind of have interactions with these. You know what I mean?
You're just dreaming about hot toys.
Come on. I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm always thinking about different ways.
Things
John, you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm tweaking things. I'm constantly just tweaking things. I like to tell stories. I like to even tell stories that we haven't even seen because I'm looking at it from a comic book perspective. That's just basically where I'm at. Now, the thing is, granted, I understand, but I also understand the science behind how to keep my figures and not really damage the integrity. I haven't, for me, every last one of my figures, I have not had an issue with yet. Or if it's not an issue that I've caused. One issue that I've actually had was with Scarlet Witch, the Age of Ultron version. That jacket peels like a motherfucker. I don't care who you. That jacket is terribly made. How they made that, I don't get it. And I didn't even it's just the way the jacket is. But that's the only issue that I've actually had with figures. I haven't had issues with tearing. I haven't had issues with the crotch grabber or the waist grabber damaging my figures because I know how to actually pose them a certain way where I don't have to worry about it, and I know what to use, especially with the waist grabber. I use basically I take the double-sided tape strip and I just don't peel off the other side. So whereas it's actually across the waist grabber on that foam piece where it's not going to damage or stick on my figure at all.
Yeah, I actually pad it with the velvet that I use for the risers, and that also adds some extra protection to it.
Look, to wrap up my thoughts before I move on, and I really want to hear what everyone else has to say about this, but that people give me a little bit of spice. So I just want to wrap up my thoughts.
Yeah, where? You know, why? Because that's basically your opinion. Like, that's the thing, guys. You'll have to understand. We are giving our opinions on what we do. Justin chooses to do it his way because it works for him, and that's his thing. And I completely understand it. It's not to tear each other down. This is the point of the show, is for us to tell you what we prefer. It's not to say, yo, this person's right or wrong, because they're not.
This is just a discussion about us and our different approaches. We're not saying that everybody in the chat has to do what Justin is saying or what Lael is saying or what I'm saying. No. Like, this is just us shooting the shit about what we do. We're not saying everybody else has to do this. And like, there's a comment, you know, so Radioactive Spider, you know, and I'm not like trying to call anybody out. I'm just responding. Like you say, but you're saying posers are damaging their investment, and we're not. We're not saying you're damaging your investment. Justin is saying, and he had the analogy. I don't want to damage mine. He just chooses to protect his investment in a different way than you do. He's not saying what you do is is damaging your investment. He's just saying he chooses to safeguard his investment in a different way than you do.
Thank you, Brendan.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong. And then here's the thing. There are some people who are watching this and don't prefer either. They'll keep their figures in the box. Plain and simple.
Exactly.
Like, literally. Like, they keep their figures in the box. They don't even take them out, and they don't have them displayed. They just collect the figures and just hold on to them inside of the box. And if you prefer to do that, that's completely fine.
That do that. My friend has 3 Commander Codys in boxes sitting in his garage. I think he's crazy, and I've told him that. But that's his personal choice, and if he wants to do that, then that's what he's going to do. And that's the same way. Everyone has opinions, and that's what we're here to discuss. This show.
Well, I want to thank Bob Dylan for having multiple copies of figures for my own personal reasons. So thank you, Bob Dylan. Shout out to you.
If we
Anthony's got it perfect here.
All agreed with everyone, and we had no opinions, this would be the most boring show you have ever seen. But I love that we all think so differently, and that we can all discuss it. And yeah, okay, you don't agree with us, but that's life. If you don't agree with our opinion, that's exactly right.
Yeah, here's the thing, guys.
And the thing is, real quick though, here's the thing, and to kind of piggyback off the what Justin. If you're looking,
Lael, why don't you show everybody's faces instead of just soloing this out? By the way,
if you've basically, I just wanted to, if you've paid attention,
the 50-50, where's the close-ups?
If you paid attention to Justin's display, okay, if you've paid attention to it, you'll see that there is a mixture of not just, character poses, but there are some dynamics in it because he knows which ones to do it with, and which one. I mean, come on, the homemade suit, you can have a field day with that
Homemade
piece.
suit, you can
Absolutely.
do whatever.
You can play with that
Batman's
thing with however
Batman
you want to
does,
do it.
right?
Exactly. Now, the
Alita
only thing
Battle
that
Angel.
the only problem that I
Alita,
had, which thank you, Justin, for pointing this out, and because I got that head sculpt, that headpiece is on his way for my
Oh, nice! You got it sorted. Excellent.
yeah, because that split, it just yeah. But I got
Drive you
that sorted
crazy,
out, so it's it did. But again, looking at it, it does show some dynamic in his display, so he understands that. But I also understand that. Look, in his profession, especially for
and
what he
by the
does,
way,
he's reviewing these
Can I just
figures.
say something real quick?
Come on, man. Yeah.
This is one reason, and by the way, this won't happen to everyone, but in my videos, you'll know I push the figures to their limit when it comes to posing, right? No matter what the
Yeah.
figure is, I will do the Cyborg Spidey, for instance. I did crazy dynamic poses on that Cyborg Spidey, and do you want to see what happened? I'll
Harley.
show you all.
Oh, and yeah.
Arkham Harley, exactly the same thing. I pushed Arkham Harley to the limit. I had the elbow bent. She was holding a gun over her shoulder. She was doing all kinds of things with that gun. And then I destroyed.
I ain't doing that shit. Fuck
So
that.
let me
Nope.
show you what happened to my Cyborg Spidey after
Okay.
the Cyborg Spidey review. This is one of the main reasons why I don't stress my things is because of this.
All right,
And
While
this
while
is the
Justin
first
brings
time
that
you all
up,
have ever seen this.
wow,
That is
yeah.
what happened to
Whoa.
mine.
Battle
It fully
damage.
split all the way down. Luckily, I was able to use the holes that Hot Toys stitched in the suit, and I stitch it right back up. So it's pretty much as good as it was.
Maybe even better.
Yeah, maybe even
Stronger.
better. It looks.
You gave it some more element though. There you go. It was already
Yeah,
stitched. You see
but
the
like-
stitches, so it just goes right with it. You know what I mean?
This
sorry,
is
just quickly to answer a question about super chats and stuff. They'll be up and running again. It's just they were there for a while, but now he's got to get some verification stuff.
Yeah, I'm waiting. Which all I'm waiting for now is for them to send me that stupid pin code. Everything else is fine.
So
but I just gotta wait
probably
for them to
with-
send that stupid pin
hopefully
code.
by like next week's streams or something
Yeah.
shortly after, they'll be back up. Somebody was just asking why they weren't available right now, so I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure people knew about that.
Yeah, so they'll be up soon. But Justin, yeah,
Guys-
I get it though, bro.
This is
Yeah.
Here's the thing. What you guys have to remember though is when
you want to be careful.
yeah, when we're talking about these kinds of things, this is right now 6 collectors on camera shooting the shit and just talking about how we approach things, whatever the topic is, whether it's budgeting, whether it's what we collect, whether it's how we display them, whether it's just what we think about the pricing and stuff. This is just people just
Ooh.
shooting the shit about our different
I've seen
approaches.
something.
And then you guys can do that in the chat and we'll respond to it.
Some
But
good
we're
news.
not saying that any one person in the chat
for me,
has to
maybe.
do what we're saying. So when people are be like, well, I'm just defending your right to say it. It's like, you don't have to, we're not attacking each other. So you don't have to defend our right
It's all
to,
about the
to
love here,
do
too.
something.
Yeah, it's love.
We're giving options, and then everybody in the chat can agree or disagree with whoever they want or have their own kind of position on it. But that's the thing. We're not trying to force that on anybody. It's like, look, this is what we think, and you have the right to think what you want to think. But it's all good here. When we're saying this, we're not saying you have to do this. This is just us shooting the shit.
Yeah, definitely. So
I
Will, Rob, I'm after
Go, yeah,
Rob.
go, Will.
What
Yep.
were we gonna say, Rob? Say it real quick.
Well, I think all of us, to speak to this, there's nothing worse than someone, even a loved one, a friend, who comes over and grabs a figure of yours
Yeah, bro.
and starts going, "Ooh, this is
Oh
cool."
my god.
Yeah,
It's
that's I'm
the
glad.
ultimate
I'll
nightmare.
punch somebody
Sideshow.
in the
I've
face.
been
Like that
people in my
Harrison
house
Ford
for it.
video where he tore up his figure on the, what was it, Jimmy Fallon or something?
yeah.
Every collector died a little inside when that
I'll
happened.
punch
I
somebody
mean,
in the
and
face.
it doesn't, you want to
I'll
explain
punch
to
him in the
people, but they're toys, man. No,
Nah, dude.
They're more
No.
than that to us, yeah.
Nah, dude.
I have a friend who would come in my house, and I have like statues, and he would take the head off of my Daredevil statue and put it on my Darth Vader statue, and I was like, well, you can't ever come over here again.
right?
Because he would do it
You were
like,
literally
I was like,
banned
well,
from this house.
you're
We're
literally
not playing
you're
that.
not allowed in my house anymore.
So Will,
Yeah.
I wanted to give it to you too, bro, because I
yeah.
know you're a straight up character / museum poser.
I mix it a little bit. I tend to mix it just based on the
you don't.
character
No, you
and
don't.
based on what
No, you
the
don't.
material can handle.
No, you
So
don't.
I'll show you later. I'll show you. But I'll show you. But okay, so there's been a lot that's been said, and I'm gonna try to recap this and give my thoughts on it as much as possible because I just sat there and listened to this. Okay, for like 30 minutes. So I'm ready now. Okay, so the first thing is, I think, like I said, I think we're definitely splitting hairs when it comes to museum posing versus character posing, right? Because I literally, while you guys were talking this whole time, I looked up the definition of dynamic, right? Characterized by constant change, activity, or progress. So any pose where the character is like moving, running, shooting something, that's dynamic, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think what you guys are referring to, we're conflating.
Bob Dylan for the win.
I think we're conflating museum with static. What you guys are referring to is a static pose. Static pose is basically where you just take it out of the box, the arms are just standing there like that. That's a static pose. That's not a museum pose.
Yeah.
A museum pose is what you're referring to as a character pose. Museum pose is essentially like, I even looked, a lot of them, I didn't attend this, but a lot of them, I was looking up museum statues. A lot of them are naked, so that didn't turn out well for me. But basically, like, the museum poses are kind of like how Justin has his Spider-Man, right?
Yeah,
Like, the museum statues look like that. They're like, they kind of have a little bit of personality, but they're still standstill. They're not just standing there with the arms like this, right? But at the same time, like, I can share the screen if you want. There's a lot of penises, though. So, but
We've seen them.
yeah, it's true. But so like, but
That
my
didn't
thing
surprise
is,
me at all.
like, I get what you guys are saying about like a character pose, but I think that basically is a museum pose. Like anything that's not with a character moving, like anything that has this character stationary where they have their arms by their side or is holding his mask or something, that's a museum pose. I mean, just by definition. So I think
By whose definition, though?
Google.
That's like,
I mean, like it's. I mean, literally, like even looking up static. Static says lacking in movement, action, or change, especially in a way viewed as undesirable or uninteresting.
Well, by definition, they're all static poses.
Right, but no, because
go.
a museum pose is not uninteresting. That definition wouldn't fit. So like that. So like, but static is like if you put it just arms by the side, that's not interesting really to anybody. So I mean, that's just and I think so.
No personality to it.
Right, exactly. So museum pose has personality. And that's like the statue we talked about. Remember, we talked about the statue with Bloodshot, right?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Bloodsport.
Sorry, I always
Bloodsport.
get those mixed up. Bloodsport. So like that one with the Prime One, that's a museum pose. He's standing there with his arms out, but he's not like looking.
the one
like
with the head sculpt of Idris Elba's sixth cousin twice removed.
Exactly. That's a museum pose, though, right? So that's a museum pose. So that's one area where like I get where you guys are coming from, but I don't agree with that. Like I feel like that what you're referring to is a museum pose. Like Darth Vader holding his belt is a museum pose. Like that, like because there's no movement there.
But it's also
He's
a
just-
character pose.
Yeah,
Sure,
it is a character
could be.
pose.
It is like like I said, it embodies the personality
I
of the
think
character.
it
but-
depends on the character. Like for instance, if we go back and look at Dagobah Yoda, he
Right.
literally only he does is raise his arm or he uses his crutch. So basically, like that itself, or if he's using his cane or if he's raising his arm to use the force, that would be considered more like a dynamic pose.
Right.
But he's not really doing. Or if he's just holding his cane, that would be considered a character.
I mean, that's all he did in Phantom Menace.
because
too.
that's pretty
Wasn't
much all he
until
did.
Attack of the Clones
Sure, he
that
walks around with a
So
cane,
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it depends on. I
Yeah.
guess it depends on the figure and their characteristics in general. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah, and I think to the second point that you guys were talking about, as far as like dynamic posing, like, and I agree with Justin. I agree with all you really, but like it's totally up. It's the prerogative of the collector. Like if you feel like you want to put your figure in in a dynamic pose, and you want to push the limits of the figure and test it, then absolutely, your prerogative. Do as you wish. Like I don't think anyone here would tell you not to do that. Like I mean, I might advise you to be cautious. But at the same time, like it's your money, it's your figure. If you, 'cause some people do buy Hot Toys for posing, and I agree with Justin. Like Hot Toys' primary, business strategy is realism. So they're always going to go for realism over articulation. That's just how they have historically done it.
Will
from what
Bob Dylan is concerned that you didn't click on statues, you clicked on Pornhub, and that's
I
why
did.
you were.
So Will,
There's
I
many
want to.
dynamic poses
like-
there, by the way.
But like so, and my final
Yeah.
point, Lael, like is I feel like it really just
Well
depends on the material. It depends on the material of the character. Like you mentioned Kylo Ren. I have no problem
Yeah.
with him in a dynamic pose because I don't think there's any risk of messing up that figure. Like,
But you don't
it's not a
need to go
Spider-Man.
crazy with that either. Just
No,
a
you
slight
couldn't.
twist of the
I have
torso.
him in a museum pose right now. He looks amazing. So you could put him in either.
Like
Yeah. So
I think
all
he
right.
looks
So
good.
this is what I'm gonna
Sorry,
ask you
Brendan.
then.
Right.
with your
Right.
okay, because I've seen some of your figures, and the thing is, because like you'll put them up in your storyline and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay,
Right.
well, Will gets it. Like, so you
Yeah.
do touch on some of the character pose and some dynamics,
Yeah,
but
sure.
you prefer then the okay. So you all right. So what your point is, you don't prefer static poses. You prefer more of the character poses, then, correct?
Yeah, and like
Well,
when you saw my Arthur Morgan, right? Arthur Morgan has a gun out shooting pose.
Yeah,
So,
that's the one
like,
I was
and
talking about.
Yeah, and like he looks great, and that I'm not worried about that at all because he has a jacket on and like a flannel shirt. So I mean, it's all fabric. So like,
Yeah.
but if it's a Spider-Man, it's a little bit different or a Black Panther where it's a skin tight suit, or even a Darth Vader. Like I'm
Yeah.
a little bit more cautious with that, or even Venom where he's gonna peel.
Because of those suits.
Right. So like, I mean, you can do it, but like with Arthur Morgan or Joel or like Kylo Ren with the material, it's all fabric. I'm not really concerned about that.
So
but,
fabric, like a fabric material type of figure with
Yeah.
double joint stuff like that.
That's not
that
a
doesn't have
skin-tight
seamless
suit.
arms.
right. Or
You're
seamless
okay
arms.
with.
Like Ray,
You're
I'm
okay
not
with.
putting in a dynamic pose. Like I'm just not, because her arms are going to split in half. I mean,
Gotcha.
it's just So it just. But if it's a character I know I can do that with, I will put them in a dynamic.
Like a Chirrut Imwe,
Yeah.
that you can. That's all fabric.
Yeah.
The joints are covered and not seamless, and you know that you can pose the
He's
fuck
just a
out of
baller
that
ass
figure.
figure either way. I got him.
That head sculpt is
It's
absolutely
real. I got him in a
phenomenal.
museum
Yeah.
pose just with his stick on the ground, like standing there. He looks amazing. So like he could go either way. But I think Lael, it really depends to me. My last point, just how much risk you want to incur. Like if you want to take on the risk of possibly damaging your figures, then go for it. Anything greater than 0 is too much for me. Like if I know that I'm gonna possibly damage this figure, I'm not doing it. But like if I know like Arthur Morgan, it's gonna be fine, right? It's gonna be fine. But if I know if it's
So-
Spider-Man, then I'm not doing it.
There's really no right or wrong here.
No,
there's
no.
really no right or wrong.
It's
It's just
preference.
it's preference. That's what it basically boils down to. Rob, because Rob, which do you prefer, bro?
Well, I mean, I think.
Or do you prefer a little bit of both?
Well, I think it's a little bit. Look, to me, it's telling a story, like you said, and it depends on the character and what you want to convey. Like, for instance, over there, I have a. It's old. It's a third-party figure from 15 years ago. It's Rick Deckard from Blade Runner. It's Harrison Ford.
Nice.
Yes.
Now,
Nice.
I would call him. He's in more of a. He's kind of turned like this with his collar up. He's not like firing at Zora as she's running through glass panes like in the movie. I mean, to me, the character of Rick Deckard is more that character on a shelf demands more of a, I guess, call it a museum pose, because he's not exactly. I mean, there are moments of action, but mostly he's a contemplative character.
Yeah.
And maybe, if anything, you want to have him bow his head or do something. But the way you turn him, to me, a subtle pose can be just as dynamic as a dynamic pose. I mean, it really is. How do you convey the character with the figure? Because you've bought the character because you don't just like the character.
Yeah.
You like the story that character inhabits.
Yeah.
And when you have a character on display, you want your display to convey to the world, because let's face it, we don't just pose our figures for ourselves. We're hoping that someday maybe someone will come in and look at our displays and be like, wow.
Yeah.
For me, it's usually the friends of my kids.
Well, I mean, there you go. And they come in and
Just don't let them touch.
There's nothing better. Like,
Wayne Brady will choke a bitch. They best not. They know that.
Well, when I had my office, I had a studio. I had a big display case. You can see I made a video, I don't know, 5 years ago, that had my display at the time, and it had quarter scale figures on the top of it. And Justin's watched this video, and I was really proud of that display because my desk was across from it, so I would come in every morning and turn on the light in my Hot Toys display case, and I just liked it. You know, I like, and there were some characters that were more dynamically posed than others. I actually had an Andrew Garfield Hot Toys figure that was posed kind of like homemade Spider-Man in Justin's Baja case. He was sitting on the crotch grabber, you know, and I think it really is, to me, the point of buying figures at all is because you're capturing the feeling. You're trying to recreate with the figure in a way, a mythical pose can convey the entire film in one pose. Like, oh yeah, you know, you look at Michael J. Fox, the Michael J. Fox figure, looking at recreating the movie poster pose where he's looking at the thing and he's taking his glasses off.
Halfway out the car,
that pose. Everybody who sees that feels what it's like to watch all of Back to the Future in one 6-scale action figure pose.
Yeah. For me, I'm recreating all the comic books that I read as a kid.
Yeah,
and that feeling that I got when every new comic book day when I got a new I feel that every time I walk into my collection room and I just look at my cases and I'm just like it's like I'm holding the books again, reading them as a kid. And if that's what you're like, that's from my personal experience.
Yeah, and
somebody else, it could be the theater going experience for like Back to the Future or something. Whatever it is, as long as it does that for you, then you're good. That's
but I have to say, like looking at like Justin's Modja case of that Spider-Man Modja case, that conveys the entirety of Spider-Man history. You know, and you look at it and you're like, man, you can't look at that Modja case and not have a smile on your face. You can't.
If your display gives you a nerd boner, then
dude. I mean, I was looking at that case.
Justin
I'm like Justin has curated that. He's curated that display. That was not haphazardly done. You know, I'm sure. I don't know how long it took you to do that shelf, Justin.
Justin's house.
I bet you walk in and you tweak it all the time. You know, every shelf is a realm unto itself. And that's why Modja cases are so cool.
To his house.
You can come anytime, Lael. Come over.
Oh, trust me, I am.
He's gonna walk over. He'll be there in about 17
taking pictures in front of each case as if it was mine.
That's how you do it, bro.
That's how you gotta do it. You know, when people stand in front of like cars that they don't even belong to them, they just want to.
That's how we do it.
Exactly right.
Like that. I think I'm not even going to use the term museum pose anymore. Now, for me, it's just character pose. Because it doesn't have to be honest. Crazy. It's just
museum pose means something worthy of being in a museum. So I don't know when it became a bad
fair point.
Term.
When did that become a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a preference. Like everyone has their preference. That's all. And that was the meaning of the show, is to really to understand each and everyone's personal preference on how they handle their figures. You know, exactly. Like it's just and on top of that, through this discussion, it's giving everybody an idea.
Point. Anthony Caparata made a perfect point. What does it for me is a realism. I'm the same. We buy them because it looks 100%. So incredibly real. I was just freaking out because Prime One put up the pictures. They're about to put up the pre-order, and I'm going to pre-order it for the Batman statue that they showed at the showcase.
I'm pre-ordering the fuck out of that tomorrow.
Oh, you're getting it too.
Wait, the Batman, the Pattinson Batman?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, the one that has that and the swap out head sculpt of the like comic book one. Yeah.
They showed it without the Pattinson head sculpt. They just showed the comic one, and I was freaking out. I was just messaging Will like, "What the fuck?" I was going to pre-order this, but then they're not showing the Pattinson head. I want it for the Pattinson head. And anyway, they added the Pattinson head now in its deluxe version. Has the Pattinson head and another. It comes with 3 heads. But what I'm trying to say is, I wasn't going to buy it until they added the realistic head, because we buy these things for the realism. I literally commented on the post, and I was like, Prime One, what you doing over there? Because I don't want to buy this unless it's coming with the Pattinson head, because this is Pattinson Batman. Like, what the hell?
Justin, what's the third sculpt?
It's another comic book where there's like 2 different comic book style ones.
Really?
Okay.
And you've got multiple different hands. The only thing for me now, and I don't know if you all can weigh in on this, I like fabric capes. I just do.
Yep.
On my statues. They have said, so this one's got sculpted cape and it's really big, it's billowing out. So I'm like, space requirements, I don't know, it looks cool, I guess, but I would prefer a drape cape. They said that later on they're going to do a fabric one, but then I don't know if that means the fabric one won't come with the Pattinson head. So now I'm worried that I'm not going to get the Pattinson head. Do I pre-order this? Do I not? It's limited. There's only $9.99 of this.
You're going to just pre-order.
I think I got to pre-order this just in case.
Yeah, I don't take the chance to miss out.
Justin, do it.
Yeah, all right.
It comes on the art print and pre-order it. Yeah,
Justin, do
it. It comes online in 2 hours, Lael. I can't pre-order it right now.
I prefer this.
You know, Will's going to be in your ear, bro. Come on, man.
Well, I actually told him to wait because if there's a fabricated version.
So then... Will told you not to do it, and you're going against it.
Yeah.
Good on you, Justin.
Yeah. Well, because I was like, I said, bro, if you want the fabricated
I love how Lael
version,
just had to clap.
I do. I had to clap my arm.
I do
There
like
you
the
go,
fabric cape
There you
version,
go.
but I don't know. I don't want to miss out on the Pattinson head. Like if it doesn't come with the Pattinson head and it doesn't come with the swap out arms, I would prefer to have the Pattinson head and the swap out arms over. Like I would still like the fabric. I don't know.
Yeah. if you
What
like the
about
fabric,
fabric
then-
capes do you like more, Justin?
I just like how realistic it looks. For some reason, I can't get around statues that are too stylized. Like I love the way that the cape looks here, so I'm still happy to get this.
John, we're
But
crazy.
sometimes they're a bit too crazy. You know what I mean?
Do you prefer them fabric but wired?
No,
Can't
just
help it.
literally draping.
Just straight drape? Okay.
Yeah, like this Batman here, drape cape, straight up and down.
Okay.
You know,
I tend to prefer
No crazy
sculpted
poses.
for me just because
no crazy poses. Get out of
I
here.
feel like a lot of times when you have like fabric and sculpt, that the color difference is too much for me. It's noticeable that they're different materials, and it's noticeable that they're not the same shade of black or whatever the color is. Like that Mythos Palpatine that Sideshow did. Now, obviously, Sideshow and Prime 1 are very different in quality. I'm just saying, like, that's just an example.
Thank goodness they are.
Yes. But yeah, for me, it's funny because so you want and I think the Pattinson sculpt looks great, and I'm actually really excited for the movie. But it's funny. So you want?
I know you want the Jim Lee sculpt. I know you prefer.
Yeah, and you want the fabric cape. I'm cool with sculpted, and then for the sculpt, I prefer the comic one solely because I love the whited out eyes. I love the whited out eyes.
Cool.
It's very it evokes the books that I'm used to reading, and so that's why I'm really psyched. But I love the fact that you get both, and yeah, I'm absolutely
that you get
pre-ordering
three.
the hell out of it.
3 different options. 3.
So
How crazy is that?
They're doing a standard one that just comes with the 2, and then like a DX
No, the
one that
standard
comes.
one only comes with 1. The standard one comes with 1, just the Jim Lee head.
Okay.
And no swappable arms and no accessories, whereas the deluxe comes with multiple hands, comes with a grappling gun and a yet to be revealed accessory. I think it's a batarang.
Oh, that's the
and
way
then
to go.
3 different heads. So it's deluxe or
Okay.
bust, I think.
That's the way to go.
So, with that
Yes.
basically being said, we're going to welcome
Sorry
the
to
segment
keep
because we
running
got
on
to
for
get
everyone.
into this segment. We have to get
It's
to
kind
this
of a
segment.
long one too.
It is. We got to get this
Okay.
segment real quick. So we are going to
That's what
get
she said.
into.
Oh, not
This
the
is called, of
Not- no, not
course,
me.
the world according to Foxification. You ready for it, Will?
Yeah. So guys, we talked. I know. Let me give myself up. Thank you. There's an audience out there who listens. So we talked about dynamic versus museum static character posing, whatever you want to call it. So tonight I'm going to give a similar presentation about statues versus figures. So this is going to be a very interesting one. It's kind of a longer one than usual. But Lael, if you would share my screen so I can share this with the people.
Hold on real quick.
Okay.
You got it? You got it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where did that picture come from? Where the hell? Come on now. Oh my God.
Well, fine.
It's a dynamic pose, Rob. It's great. It's a
Wow.
story, dude. It's a story. It's storytelling.
Oh,
It's a character
dude.
pose.
I don't even know what to say to this. Wow.
Yo, he said, Rob, he sent it to me earlier. I was like, yo, what? I had to take a second look because I thought it was something that you did, but I was like, he was like,
No,
nah, it's for the
no.
segment. I was like, what?
No, that's a real photograph of me at the Kahala, the island of Oahu.
You look so
Yeah.
handsome, Rob. You
wow.
look like a model, dude. Like model with a dolphin. Like seriously.
I am. I
Yeah.
know that.
Seriously, bro.
What kind of web
Can't
stalking did you do
believe
to dig this
found
up?
this picture.
I found it on your Facebook, Rob. Not to beat around the bush. I was
That's a
creeping a
deep
little.
cut, man.
Yeah, it was a
Deep
deep
cut.
cut. I found some deeper ones, so maybe I'll use those at another point. But I decided to use this one instead. So everyone gets a fair share. There'll be others in this presentation.
Oh, yeah, he got me a couple times, bro.
Yeah, I got everybody. So figures versus statues. So sometimes this can be
Why did
a
you
very
pick that figure.
this can be I know I picked the best one. This can be a very testy debate because some people really feel strongly and passionately about figures, some feel passionately about statues, but it really just depends on sort of what you're going for. So sometimes it can be a David versus Goliath situation or a David versus David situation, depending upon who you ask, because sometimes it's evenly matched, right? I don't know which one is stronger than the other. I know one of them is stronger than the other, David versus Goliath, but I'm really not sure. So I'm just going to say David versus David if you like both. So, oh yeah, and I picked Rob's photo just because it was very wholesome. I just liked it. It doesn't really have anything to do with the presentation, but it's just very wholesome. I don't know, just like that's
Very
a postcard.
smooth.
That's a postcard photo right there. So, okay, a journey to the center of the pros or balls, depending upon who you ask.
Oh my god.
So, and there's even Ant-Man there. So, and Ant-Man, the reason we'll get into this, but Ant-Man's there just because Ant-Man, I don't even know if I want to say this yet, but Ant-Man not jumping up Thanos' butt and expanding makes more sense than the Eternals not helping versus Thanos. So we'll get more into that later. This is not the main topic of this presentation, but Ant-Man's there just because he can expand on balls anywhere, really. So, okay. We're going to talk about the pros, right? Figures and statues, they allow us to express our love for a character or an IP, but which is right for you? That's the question we're trying to answer tonight. There's some pros here, and I tried to list evenly for each one because there's probably more, but this is not an exhaustive list, but it's one that's somewhat comprehensive, I think, anyway. I did it at work today, so I put a lot of effort into it. Hands-on / articulated, right? Figures. You can, like we talked about that a lot tonight. You can play with them. You can pose them. You can move them around. You can swap the poses. You can engage with them, right? Statues, not as much, right? They're usually cheaper. Unless Kotobukiya or Iron Studios 10 scale, although those prices are going up, they are usually cheaper than Hot Toys figures. So figures tend to be cheaper than statue versions of the characters because they're smaller scale typically. So that's another pro right there. Easier to complete a line because they are in fact cheaper. Like you can buy a whole Civil War line and you might get, 2 or 3 statues of that line, right? Maybe tops versus, maybe even 2, depending if you're getting a Prime 1 or something or a Queen Studios. So yeah, it's much cheaper and easier to complete a line with figures. Easier to resell. So if you want to trade up to a new figure, you want to get the new Venom with the spider logo, then you can sell the old one, right? It's a lot easier to do compared to a statue where you're incurring a lot more risk because you are selling a big ass statue and you got to pack that thing up. You got to don't trust DHL. That's for damn sure. But if you trust someone else like FedEx or UPS, it could still break it, right? It also takes up less space because you can have more figures. You can have more characters that you like because it takes up less space and less of your money. Statues. This is, subjective, but greater shelf / display presence. They're bigger, right? And a lot of times you can have more opportunity for more detail. Not that Hot Toys doesn't kill it in the detail department, but some of these statues like Queen, and we're seeing from J&D, and even Prime 1 now is stepping their game up tremendously. There's more opportunity for detail because they're bigger. They're bigger canvases. There's larger canvas, right? So when I show my collection to people, non-collectors and collectors alike, they mostly go for the statues. The statues seem to be what draw their eye the most because they're bigger and they just have more presence. That's why museum statues tend to usually be bigger, right? So they're already in the perfect pose. You would consider that if you bought that, right? They're already in the pose where you don't have to adjust anything. You don't have to swap things. You can do a swap out, I guess, if you want to, but you don't have to go and work on posing it for a while. You don't have to worry about the material, anything like that. They're already in the perfect pose, right? You're not as concerned about material degradation unless it's like a silicone sculpt or something, which they say is 30 years, but we'll see. With Hot Toys, you're more concerned about leather or pleather flaking or suits, creasing or things like that, right? You're not as concerned about that with statues, really. You can display dynamic poses that figures may not be able to maintain long term. Perfect example, the Queen Studios Civil War Spidey, right? That suit, or that pose, you would not really put your Hot Toys in that for a long-term pose. Homemade suit like John's done, sure, but not really the tech suit. So you can get some dynamic poses out of statues that you just wouldn't really capture out of figures usually. Okay, so it's a little bit of a side tangent here. This has less, figures and statues both have their cons, but each of them has less cons than Eternals does. So this is just a graphic here with a meme of Eternals. Hold now. Perfect time for the Eternals to emerge and fight whatever it is they think they're fighting. Okay, here's some other Eternals memes because I was on a roll today at work. Throughout the years, we have never interfered. Disney money until now. Perfect. Throughout the years, we have never interfered until now. Tony Stark in heaven. There he is. He didn't make it because the Eternals were just preoccupied. Let's discuss the cons. Let's get back on topic. Or wait, are we? Nope, we're still on the Eternals. The entire time I knew Thanos, he only had one goal: to wipe out half the universe. If he gets all 6 stones, he can do it with the snap of his fingers. Scene 12:48 p.m. They left Gamora on the Avengers on red. That's what they did. So, anyway, okay. Let's address the cons, okay? And this is the face of a collector who doesn't like addressing cons, right? We don't want to talk about the negatives, right? But this can sometimes happen. We don't want to talk about the negatives. This is all of our faces. This is a collective collector face, right? This is not just Justin's face. This is just all of our faces. So, okay. Figures. Poses you can't responsibly maintain for an extended period, right? So you can't always.
That was a low blow. Low blow.
We talked about this. You know, Justin. I love you, Justin. You know this.
I know.
So
Thank you, Will.
poses
I'll
you
take
can't responsibly maintain for an extended period, right? We talked about some creasing and stuff. Lael doesn't seem to have that problem, but the rest of us a little more concerned about that.
Lael
So-
is just immune.
Lael is just he's a posing
I haven't had any
genius.
problems with creasing in figures.
Well, Brendan too. Then I don't know. You guys are just incredible.
John.
Awesome.
Nor have I.
I
There you
don't
go.
believe
There you
either.
go.
Just
there you
Justin
go.
and I. We just suck.
Yeah, just us and everyone else.
Right. Easy to drop NRDs, right? They're like a chip. You can't just have one. You can drop NRDs on figures all day. Everyone talks about and jokes about collecting pre-orders, right? Like we all collect pre-orders, and we've kind of slowed down on that recently just to be more cautious. At least a lot of
Definitely
people.
me.
Right.
Hell
So like
nah.
I had to go through the Excel doc because I was collecting pre-orders too. Like statues, you're not really doing that as much because the NRD is like $200 most of the time. So it's not really as easy. So material degradation concerns, like I said, even without dynamic posing, you could get flaking of pleather. You could get, creasing in the suit, even with if you have the elbow bend in a somewhat non-dynamic pose. You got to be careful with that stuff, right? If you don't live in a,
His face. Where did you find it? It's just
my
his
brother
face,
actually
like-
sent me this. So
Oh, okay.
he was watching one of the streams. We
I
just caught
cannot
this. So
even.
Justin gets a lot of a GIF.
This is the slide he's going to take the longest on too, just so it's up there for long.
No, I'm almost
Oh,
there.
man.
Not as much present without a bevy of figures. So like if you just had one figure, right, one Hot Toys figure, it still looks cool, but it doesn't have as much presence as one statue in a bigger scale, right? So if you have more figures, yes, but it takes more figures to kind of gain that same presence as one statue would have, right? Statues take up a lot of space. Obviously, yeah, they're third scale or quarter scale most of the time, or even half scale, even 1-to-1 sometimes. So they take up a lot of space. They're a big investment in space, very expensive. Prime 1, Queen, J&D, all the big guys, Iron Studios, they're all very expensive. You're limited to just a few poses typically, maybe even one. Sometimes they have swap outs where you can change the pose slightly, but you got to buy it for that one pose. You got to love it, right? Difficult to ship and resell. They're not easy. Shipping is expensive. You got to worry about the risk of things breaking. It's not fun, right? Let's look at some examples real quick. We're looking at Captain America, right? Sam Wilson, Captain America. We're looking at Iron Studios versus Hot Toys. So this is an example to me, at least in my opinion, where it would make way more sense to get the Hot Toys, right? Because you're paying almost 4 times as much for a statue. It is quarter scale versus 6 scale. But if we look at the measurements here, the width is not that different with the wings somehow. And then the height obviously is pretty different. There's pretty substantial difference there. But the Iron Studios looks great, no doubt about it. But this is a situation where you have to really love Sam Wilson as Cap to drop 4 times really what you could on a great Hot Toys figure. So it just depends. You got to love the character. Example 2.
Iron
Cyborg.
Studios also doesn't do a great job with unmasked head sculpts.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything else is great, but their unmasked portraits are not always spot on for human characters. So Cyborg, for example, right? This Prime 1 statue is killer. It's really good. But the Hot Toys is also incredible.
Coming.
Ooh, okay. So yeah, so
Yeah.
Justin, I want to see that when that comes out. But like 315 versus
I'll show you.
1099. So Justin, it makes sense because he's completing a Justice League line of Prime 1. So it makes sense for him. But this Hot Toys is really good, and it's a third of the price. And this one's already sold out anyway, so it goes for a lot
It's
more
also
now.
a third of the size.
That's
Smaller.
true. That's true. So you get a lot more. Sure, you get a lot of bang for your buck, so to speak, in terms of size. But yeah, you got that's again, Justin. I think the point really is just how much do you love Cyborg? Because I know in your case you do, but for most people who just like, oh, I want a Cyborg, but like Lael might make sense to get a statue. So because I know he loves Cyborg.
Why are Figuarts and Mayfex not included here? Because they're even cheaper than Hot Toys, and they're pretty good too. In fact, the Mayfex one is die-cast. So there you go.
Yeah.
Is this
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is Brendan.
Oh my god. What a flattering angle.
I
Brendan.
took it.
Yep.
I took Brendan's most unflattering photo.
Wow, that is amazing.
No, there are
It
worse ones.
kind of looks
Oh,
like
okay.
Thanos.
Yeah, he does look a little Thanos with a beard.
That's
Scrotum
easy,
chin,
man.
you mean?
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. So
You said it.
final recommendations.
Hey, man.
Statues should ideally
it.
be purchased only when you truly love a character. They have money, space, difficult to resell if you have a change of heart, right? There's a lot. You got to think long term with statues, right? It's
It
not
looks like I'm smoking a really thin orange cigarette.
it's a big orange Tic Tac.
Or it's a
That's what it
toothpick.
is.
Toothpick.
Figures are
That's
great
okay.
if you want to build a display representing a universe or IP. Less space, cost per figure. You can build a line better. If you like posing, like we talked about tonight, or interacting with your figure, obviously figures are better. Statues, you have switch outs, but it's not the same thing. If you want a museum display with greater presence, generally statues are preferable. They're bigger. They have a cool pose you already love. They draw an eye a little bit more. Finally, The Eternals is the biggest cinematic disappointment since The Last of Us Part 2.
Wow.
And at that point, thank you so much. I am done. Thank you.
Wow.
Wipe your chin because there's a whole bunch of bullshit just leaking off it right now.
Oh my god, Will.
What did-
Somewhat.
Well,
He hates Eternals so much for something that they couldn't control. What are they supposed to do? Just not introduce any more new characters just because
he
Will
hates
might
the
get upset they
Eternals
didn't
and
fight
loves like Venom. Let there be carnage. So he
Eternals
has no
is the six.
credibility
I don't hate it that much. I
whatsoever.
just
And
like
you
the
loved-
better.
And you
But
loved
that is not
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Mortal Kombat's elite,
come on.
bro. It's
But
sick.
that is not a reason to not like Eternals that they didn't fight Thanos, because like, what is Marvel gonna do? Just not introduce any more cosmic characters just because like of the previous villains? Like you can't.
By the way, how would the Eternals
What are they
even
gonna
know
do?
Thanos was on Earth? He
They would've
landed in
smelled him. They
Wakanda.
would have smelled him.
They would, yeah. Well, they weren't they trying to birth a celestial? So, I mean,
Yeah, but they wouldn't. I mean, that's like asking everybody to know that what's going on any point in the planet Earth at any one time. That'd be like saying
That's a good
that
point.
the police force in Iowa needs to know what the police force in Arkansas is doing.
I think I would be a little concerned when half of the universe disappeared before my eyes. I think that's where.
Yeah, but
I
it
would
happened
be
in
like,
like
"Ah."
it happened in
Yeah,
like
but
2
already
seconds.
happened.
Like
Yeah, I
the
mean, if
battle
you
was
think
like
about
an hour long only.
it was like in real time. So the
Yeah.
battle in
Right.
That's a
Wakanda,
very good
there was no
point.
Eternals in Wakanda.
He was on Titan for 3/4 of Infinity War. He was on Earth for like a minute.
It seemed
Yeah.
like
That's
the rest
true.
of
He
the
was only
universe
there
knew
for
about
like
it.
5 minutes.
Everyone else seemed to know.
After they knew.
Yeah, but the
after that.
Eternals
They knew
were doing their job.
They couldn't interfere.
And they thought
It
that
makes no
they thought
sense.
their
It
job
makes
was done. They thought all the deviants were gone, and
Just
they were
believe
just
it.
waiting
Come on.
to be brought home. They
Yeah, they're
thought that
just
their
kicking
job
it.
was done. They were all disbanded. They weren't doing anything.
Why?
I
They
would
were
have
just
preferred if
shiftless
they.
fucking
I would have
layabouts for a couple
preferred.
centuries.
I would have preferred if Cersei said to that Jon Snow guy when he was like, "Why didn't you help fight Thanos?" I would have preferred if she was like, "Well, how are we to know that he was even here? He was
Right,
here
that's-
for
well,
5
that's-
minutes. He snapped his fingers and he vanished. How were we to know?" That's what I
None
would
of
have
them
preferred.
vanished, right?
By the way, I know people like the Jon Snow guy, but I really don't like him as an actor. He just has one
Really?
expression, just expressionless, just standing there.
You
very
need to watch
like
Game
it.
of Thrones,
boring.
bro.
Yeah, he's
to
great
watch
in Game of Thrones.
He just
the
feels
fight
like-
scene.
He feels
Yeah.
like he thinks he's too cool to be there, and I don't like that vibe. Sometimes I get that vibe from actors, and he just feels like any scene that
Nah.
he's in, he feels like, "Hey, I'm me. Like, look how good I am. I don't need to."
He's
be
great
that
in
person."
Game of Thrones.
He-
man.
he
Yeah.
did-
He is good in
he-
Game of Thrones. One
Yeah.
other thing about Thanos
know.
and the Eternals, though, is you got to remember is that none of them remembered their lives before Earth. None of them were, so they didn't really
Right.
even know about Thanos
Right.
until after the blip.
I just want to
Whatever they
know
call it.
how a robot, Harry Styles, can be a brother of anyone, because he's a fucking
But he's not a
robot.
robot. He's
So-
a natural. He's a natural born.
They
Uh,
Eternal.
their exact words were, "We were created." Someone said, "So we're basically super robots," and they were like, "Yeah." They
Not,
literally said
but
that.
Harry
in the movie.
Styles and Star Fox
And
Harry
Thanos were
Styles.
brothers.
Thanos were natural births.
Yeah. Even though they're Eternals,
Well,
they were natural
They kind
birth.
of
They-
can't say the words "super robot" and then be like, "Oh, but no, those ones aren't super. Those are not. Those are different kind
But-
of robot." Those
Well,
are
but that's
different
like in the
But they are,
comic books, they were natural born of the Eternals. The Eternals are still made of biological matter.
Yeah,
they're just
they're
made
still
by
yeah.
the
Doesn't
Celestials.
the snap directly
What?
impact the Celestial's goal of birthing a Celestial? Because you don't have the population then.
But he
I
still
mean,
would
and
have to
also
know
it's not just
about it.
Earth.
Well,
it's not
that's
just
what-
Earth people who are
And
getting
that's
snapped
what's
away.
why the
that's why
emergence was
everybody.
that's why
delayed.
the emergence started, and it was delayed, and it started the way it did until the
Because everybody
population got
came
to
back.
reestablish. Because the emergence was supposed to happen a while ago. It didn't
Right.
happen because of the snap, so it
But
was
they would have
delayed
to
in
But
film.
at that
No.
point, why would the Eternals not be like, okay, let's investigate this? Like, what happened?
They would have
there?
to know, Will. They would have to know that it
Why
was
would they
going
not?
to happen, and I don't
Yeah.
think that they can know what is going. They would have to know. Okay,
Yeah.
so Thanos is going to come here.
They're not
This
pressing.
is what his
They're
plan
not-
is.
Yeah.
No, I'm
They're
not
gonna-
saying they know what's going to happen. They're
They
just
just-
reacting to what
yeah.
did happen. But
They're
didn't.
not again because there's certain things that they're supposed to know. They have a prime directive, which is to secure humanity for a certain cause, which is food. Pretty much, you might as well say.
Right.
Well, they want to make sure humanity grows and flourishes.
Exactly.
That's
so
their job.
that's
They're
why they
farmers.
couldn't
They're
interfere.
tending
And
to their
Not to
garden.
mention,
Yeah.
this is a very likely path to introducing mutants into the MCU.
They said that about
The
every
Eternals-
movie. Like,
No,
mutants
no,
are
but-
after this.
Yeah,
right,
in
and
WandaVision,
Scarlet
they've
Witch,
teased it with like House of
WandaVision.
M and Scarlet. Yeah,
Mutants are after this.
but remember, so if you've read the comics, I know you haven't, Justin or Will, but like in the comics, the basically a dying Celestial's
He shat them out.
decomposition, whatever, basically
Oh.
seeds the earth and lays the foundation for people, for the X gene and for mutations millions of years later, as well as for certain humans to survive things that they shouldn't have survived, like Banner surviving the gamma explosion, like Steve Rogers surviving the super soldier serum experiments, right? There, basically all of that was credited back to the Celestial dying and kind of like not poisoning, but like, I guess, like seeding the earth and making it possible for superhumans and mutants to become a thing. And they're saying this be one that they were right. He's the there. A lot of people are saying that basically his kind of coming out, but then stopping before he's fully like birthed or whatever, is something that is going to potentially then lay the groundwork for mutants to enter the MCU.
And my last point on this one, then I'll drop it. Just to give clarification on this, Mortal Kombat and Venom 2 both have higher critic and audience scores than Eternals. So my position is not that bold. It's actually consensus.
It's true. Yeah.
So
absolutely,
they're wrong. Though.
I'm sorry, I can't count.
Yeah, people are stupid.
No, but I'm saying
the
even
Eternals,
audience,
the
even
Eternals
audience.
movie was
We're looking at
unfairly
audience
maligned.
scores.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, the Eternals didn't really get a fair chance in the very beginning. And the thing is,
hey, I seen it twice, and I liked it,
and I loved it
both times.
It's not without its flaws.
And the thing is, I think it would have had even a higher audience rating if, like I said, the critics planted the seed, bro, and they created. It was a very divisive seed. They were, it was, and in my opinion, it was kind of wrong because, like I said, I mean, again, everybody can have an opinion, but it's just the way they did it. And like a lot of it was Chinese whispers, and they followed the same scheme. This person said it, and this person just followed through and said the same damn thing, just a different way. That's all it was. And that's the only thing, because they didn't, if you're going to give an opinion why you didn't like it, give something constructively different from another individual. And they didn't do that. So that was my biggest problem with it. You can have an opinion, but what you said, it just didn't hold weight because I heard it before. And it just didn't make sense.
But you could also, Lael, not to just play devil's advocate, you could also make the point that that's a common theme because it's a problem. Like if everyone's saying that that's a problem, it's because it is a problem. Like it's, it's not because everyone's just catching on to each other. Like if they're saying the characters are dull and there's too much going on, everyone's saying that, then it's probably true. It's not like that they're just making it up and copying each other.
Well, because they basically, but a lot of it is because they basically expected the same. And here's the thing, bro. My biggest problem with it was you're expecting this. You say you want something different, and they've been saying this for so long. You wanted something totally different, but then you got it, and you were like, "Oh, you didn't follow the same MCU formula." That made no fucking sense to me.
You can't go into the Eternals expecting the Avengers.
You can. You can.
But also, that's something that I don't agree with the critics. You can't say that they only like MCU movies because we've seen that that's not true. They review all kinds of movies. So I don't think that we can say they didn't like Eternals because it's not a normal MCU movie. That would mean that anything other than MCU that they watch.
But
no,
Justin, but this is what I'm saying.
I was talking critics.
If you listen to some of the critics, this is exactly what they said. They said that it didn't have the same. Some of them said they wanted something that was completely different, but it just didn't follow what they would expect out of an MCU. So to say that you want something different, but then say, "Oh, but that's just not an MCU film."
More of the critic
that doesn't make sense to me.
That were negative about the Eternals were written by people that you could clearly tell were never going to like that movie in the first place. Like they're not comic fans, or they're not like they were not predisposed to like that.
Then we would be having a different conversation.
I get what you guys are saying, but I think literally it's like we flipped the argument for Last Jedi, right? Star Wars fans said The Force Awakens was too similar. They get something different, and you guys don't like it, and you're like, oh, you wanted something different, but you don't like it. So that's again the same point. Like it can be flipped on its head too.
All right, hey, I would say this.
So and that's my point, but
I never saw anyone bring this up in the reviews. In the film, you basically have the character of Icarus, who literally knows who his creator is and what his purpose in life is. And he's a fundamentalist, and he is asked by his fellow Eternals, who all have the same mandate as he does, to go against their creator. And he can't do it. And basically he's a fundamentalist believer in the Lord, his Lord, because he knows who his Lord is. He actually knows his Lord, and his Lord's will is what he is supposed to be he's supposed to do it. And when his fellow Eternals go against God, he's not going to be like, okay,
Right.
you know, and that central concept was
But
really
I think that worked for
fascinating.
me. I
Yeah, that worked.
I
Yeah, that worked.
Saw that
Icarus
that
makes
worked
sense.
for me.
Icarus makes
Absolutely,
worked for
and
me.
it's
Yeah.
definitely and I think the third act of that film, you know, it's heartbreaking when you find out what's really going on, and the fact that Icarus is like, look, I understand, I love humanity too, but our job is to make sure that the destruction of humanity will ensure 20,000 other civilizations might arise. And I get it, but we have to do what we're here to do. And I thought that central
Absolutely.
conflict was
Yeah.
really
interesting.
really interesting.
Now,
He's
Rob,
the company man.
that's
He's like
that
there
was
to
one
do
of
the
the
job.
Sure.
that was one of the things. Now, I want to get your take on this because I
derail
agree
this.
with that. I think
Will, you did this.
my preference
Yeah.
would have been that
Will, go on, Dave.
that they made the Icarus reveal more like in the middle of the movie, and then you actually showed that struggle, that duality, and them having to go up against him, and him having to live a little bit longer with the results and the feeling of turning on his family to give that more impact. I think that would have landed better.
I agree with you 100%. I think you know what happened to me as an editor myself. They had a really good 4-hour movie,
Yeah,
and I'm
Yeah.
sure that
that's
they
what
shot
Steph said too.
Yeah,
Where's the
maybe,
rest?
or a Disney Plus
Disney
show.
Plus
Like,
series,
Disney
so you
Plus.
could develop every character.
Yeah, I
'Cause there
mean-
were
I
seeds
mean,
there that I liked, but
yeah, I mean, I think that the thing about the Eternals is it would have been a Disney Plus show, because they would have had to get in and deal with this, because
Yeah.
all of the meat of the story, like even the way there's like little bits of montages where you see Cersei dealing with people, and you know, there were moments.
I want to see more
It
of
almost
Kingdom, to be honest.
it was like a Terrence Malick movie, like Tree of Life or The New World or something, where I could have watched Cersei interact with humanity for an hour,
Mhm.
just delighting in everything that was going on. And I'm sure the movie had a much longer edit,
Well,
and they had to
yeah.
cut it down. And
Mhm.
and I think that unfortunately, because it was a Marvel movie, they had to try and make it a Marvel film. You know, they had to have enough Marvel. To me, the battles in the movie were the least. If there were no the thing is, in the comics, the deviants are actual characters,
Mhm.
and
And the deviants in this film were placement.
right. And if they made that reveal halfway through, then they would have also had to deal with the fact that Crow, the leader of the Deviants, wasn't really
He has a name?
wrong. Yeah, KRO, Crow.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
You
He
never,
wasn't
you
wrong.
never get the name in the
Oh.
movie, but yeah, he was playing the character who is essentially in the comic books is the leader of the Deviants.
Right.
And it's like what he was saying is like, well, the Celestials are actually fucking dickheads. Like, and
Now we're getting into the
had
weeds, I think.
they had a real beef with them, and I mean, the thing is that the Eternals were essentially agreeing with Crow and the Deviants because they turned against the Celestials. So make them deal with that more, and then flesh out Crow more as a character. Absolutely,
They
I
said
think they
that
should've.
basically about 15 minutes of I think 15 to 8, almost 15 to 20 minutes of Makari's story was cut. They
Yep.
cut it out because she had the most interactions with not the Deviants, not humanity, but with the Avengers. Because she stole things, she stole artifacts, and there were certain things in it that she actually took from them. So she knew who they were. She just couldn't interfere. But she
Right.
had the most direct contact with the Avengers, with any other hero that was on Earth. She stole certain artifacts that were in that room, that were on the ship, but they didn't show it. They showed some of it in the earlier trailers,
That would've been
but
cool.
they never actually showed it in the film because they cut it. So there was a couple of things that were actually cut from each individual character that would have probably made more sense, and probably would have got the interaction that the critics would have wanted, or at least gave them a bit more. But I love the simple fact that the Eternals, that this was told through the eyes of the Eternals and not humanity, and the only link that we had to humanity was Dean. I love that aspect of it, to be quite honest, because that's the only way for you to really understand these characters. Now, I get it. A lot of people say that, okay, the movie itself, yeah, it slow build. There wasn't really much chemistry between, certain characters such as Cersei and Icarus. I get that. I mean, and I can understand it from a certain point of view. Yeah, I really, really get it. But just look at it as a story being told from the eternal, like Rob has always said, it's a story told from the creator standpoint. You know what I mean? It's not from humanity. We've seen humanity's story on Earth and destructive and all that. Now let's see pretty much this aspect of it. And I don't think that portion of it was accepted, because again, they said that they want something fucking different, but
they
didn't
really
accept what was different. They don't want anything different.
I wish they had given us more time with Thena and Gilgamesh. I wanted to get more of that and see her struggle, because essentially it's like somebody trying to take care of a loved one with Alzheimer's, right? And like that's what she was going through, and I think that would have been really powerful storytelling to see more of that too.
Yeah.
Look,
so there's a lot of stuff that I think that they could have done more, but I still think as a whole the movie works, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
So again, everybody out there in the chat, we didn't mean to derail Will. Will basically started this whole conversation. We didn't mean to basically do that. So we're going to get back on track.
It was
and it's already,
though.
it's like 2 hours and, we're already 2 hours in. So we're going to bring the show to a close, definitely. So what I'm going to do is go around and just kind of, just find out what's going on in everyone's realm. John, what you got coming up on your channel, bro?
Thanks, Lael. Look, I love being here. I just wanted to add there before, like with the movie, real quick. I think for me, I'm easy to please, a bit more easy to please. Like I don't expect every movie to be everything. I just try to find what the general story is that they're trying to portray. So I'm a bit easier to please. So I enjoyed it. Not knowing that much about the characters, I still enjoyed it. But in regards to like what I've got going on at the moment, I just finished my Mysterio showcase, so I'm going to hopefully have that out in the next couple of days. Nice. At the end of it, it's like a little 13-minute short film that I've tried to do, which has taken me forever. So I really hope people like that. And then, just hopefully going to be doing another episode of Posed Up soon.
Yes,
might have Optical on soon, so Optical might be popping on next. And hopefully make more posing stuff with yourself would be awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I've got a lot planned. I've got a Hawkeye little story I'm going to make next. So I'll be putting that out soon.
That damn story you tell them right there is so crazy, bro. I love it.
That's awesome.
I effing love it.
Appreciate it. Yeah, look, for me, back to the figure discussion, like I think if whatever you enjoy, that's what it's for. For me, it's playing with them and creating stuff. Like after this, I'm going to take photos, do some videos, put it to music, so that way I can remember this. But then I'll fold them back down and put them in a standard pose and put them back in the DTOF until I'm ready to use them again. So I'm not going to leave them in this for a long period of time. It's just for the video, I'm going to take some photos, have some fun with it, then I'll put it away. And that's what I like to do. So that's my thoughts on it. Like in regards to everyone's displays, Justin's, your display, mate, is amazing. Like I think it tells a story, and that's what I think it's all about. Like, what do you enjoy out of it? If you're going to have stress and feel worried about putting them in these types of poses, I don't expect everybody to do this. This is just what I like to do. And by me sharing it, I'm hoping other people get to enjoy it, enjoy the characters in a way that they might not be willing to do. So I like doing that. I like giving and letting people see, this is what you can do, and enjoy it, even if you don't want to do it. And that's what I like doing about it.
All right, man. Appreciate
and that's pretty much how that's it. So just a lot coming. I appreciate being on here. I'm back to work now, so I'm not going to be having Thursdays off for a while, unfortunately, but I'd love to hook up with everybody in another way at some point.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Well, you're always welcome. Anytime you're off and you have the time, you have space here.
What do you mean hook up with us?
I was gonna say, you got to dinner first.
That can be whatever you like, Rob.
Spoken like a true Aussie. Thank you for that.
Straight up, bro. Brendan, what's going on with you, bro?
Not much, man. I got the shipping notice for So Toys Nightwing, so that should be here in a couple days.
Where'd you order yours from?
Toys Wonderland. Damn it. And then I've got they told me that the shipment got delayed, and so that it would be going out on the 19th. So that should be like right now. Will be the SSR Hush Batman. So I'm still waiting on that. Ooh. So hopefully that will come soon. And then I'm pre-ordering the ever-living fuck out of that Prime 1, the Batman. Nice. When that goes up.
2 hours, right?
1.5 hours now.
Ooh.
I'm gonna get it through Marco, so I already told him just put one aside
okay,
for me
yeah,
tomorrow,
gotcha.
and so
Justin.
Well, I can't do it yet, Lael. It's not live yet.
he's already gonna. He's committed to.
I'm
it
going
now
to.
anyway.
I'm going to.
It's gonna be fucking
Don't
great.
let Lael tell you, dude. Don't. He's the devil in
Yeah.
his shoulder.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm pretty much just doing those, and I got Endgame Hulk in too yesterday. So yeah, pretty much just kind of waiting on those, and then doing some just more editing on the stuff I shot with Josh Wolf. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, that's good, man. Well, we'll see your butt naked ass on Monday. uh,
Oh yeah, Monday, and so next week's stream is going to be talking a lot about Hawkeye for
yes,
Wednesday.
you already know.
And I would
You already
say
know.
Show.
I feel like
Does that start
Yeah.
next week?
Wednesday.
Yes, it
24th,
does.
yeah.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah.
So Tuesday at midnight.
Yes,
I mean,
it
Your
does.
boy probably has
Yeah.
already seen it.
Well, I
John
mean,
Campion.
Rob, when can we ever? You let me know when we can ever get you on Comic Book Talk with Friends, bro. Like, let me know whenever we can, because I would, because you have
Every
the same
Monday.
insight every Monday when you free, whatever Monday you're free. Let me know, bro.
I'm
So
always
I would
free
love
for
to get you
man.
on. I need to get you on, bro.
There you
I
go.
need
I
to
didn't
get you
know.
on.
I mean, what you know, we're all here to stream. We're all friends here. Let's just
Let's just
stream,
do it.
stream.
Let's just do it.
Lael, are we putting a 1 week spoiler ban, or are we talking about Hawkeye on Wednesday night stream?
Nah, we're gonna do 1 week. We'll do
1
1
week,
week.
okay.
We'll do it 1 week. Just to be fair, we'll do it 1 week.
Okay.
I don't want to say anything on that
So
night.
non-spoiler talk
Yeah.
on Wednesday.
By the way, are you
'Cause
guys
it's the first
excited?
2 episodes.
Are you excited?
Fuck yeah,
Oh,
bro.
I
I
Echo.
think,
So
I think it looks
excited.
great.
It
I
looks
think
amazing,
really
It
bro.
good.
looks like
Wait.
it looks like Die Hard. It looks
Although,
like I can't
What's
the
up?
remember.
the early reviews and reactions haven't been all that for it.
I don't care
So-
about those.
That doesn't phase me in the least.
Yeah, I
What
don't
movie are we
care
talking
about
about?
that.
I was
No,
gonna
it's
say.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
It's
We're talking
Oh,
about
Hawkeye.
Are these
Hawkeye.
people that read the Matt Faction run on this Hawkeye book? Do they know the story? I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know the story, and I'm still
And
excited.
Kate
I don't
Bishop,
know
I'm
the
still
and the
story.
excited
fact
for
that
it.
we're getting Echo introduced in this before
Hell
she
yeah,
gets
I
her
can't
own
wait.
Haley
fucking
Steinfeld's
show.
awesome,
Like,
dude.
come
She's
on.
got
Yes,
so much
she is.
charisma.
I
She's
can't wait to
definitely
see
is.
this. I
incredible.
absolutely cannot wait.
Way
for
more
this show.
charisma than
So-
the Game of Thrones guy.
Justin,
Come
what do you
on
got?
now.
You know what? And before I even say Ashley, what's going on, Justin? I do want
He
to say
reminds me
something.
of Timothy. What's his name? Timothy
Chalamet.
Chalamet.
So-
Oh, throwing shade at
same
KG?
Face, just like
So, Justin, before I ask you, what you got coming
That's
up,
his
man.
performance in
Before I say that, I do want to tell you that regardless of what if it seems like I said some people challenge you and stuff like in the chat, the people that I
that's
know
fine. I love
that
it.
I
love
talk to, and I
talk about
know,
our
but what I'm
opinions.
saying is the people that I know that I talk to, and the people that even like people that live in my area and that watch my show, bro, they love you, bro. And the reason why they love it is because they go through my channel and they look at your stuff and they look at your channel and they're like, yo, like he got some dope shit. Like literally, like they'll say that. So what's inspiring is that people who have never, or you would never even think would like this shit, or like what we do, they look at your show and it's inspirational because you're giving people hope to say, we can expand. We don't have to stay stuck in the same arena. We can just look at it. So that's what I'm saying. I just wanted to say that before you actually.
And it's also about joy.
Exactly. That's what it is, bro.
Happy, joy, joy. happy,
Exactly.
happy,
And
joy, joy.
they're looking forward to your movie next month. Justin, like, what do you have going on, bro? what do you got coming up besides Major? What else do you have going on, bro?
Oh my god.
I don't think anyone
just
likes this joke as much as you and I do, Lael.
No, they don't. They don't.
Yeah, I think it's
love
just.
it.
I think it's just you two.
Yeah,
Just
they
reviews.
love- I love
Heaps
it.
of reviews coming. I'm gonna do a top 5 Spidey video. Actually, top 5 Spideys because I've almost reviewed them all. I've only got the only other Spidey figures that I haven't reviewed are Amazing Spider-Man 1 and New Goblin. I'm not gonna lie, they're not on my list. So
I
I'm not
have the
all that
Amazing
phased.
Spider-Man 1. Would you like to borrow mine?
No, I have it, but I just haven't reviewed
Oh,
it.
okay.
But New
Just
Goblin
walk it
is
on
being
over.
New Goblin has been shipped. I'm going to review him, but I can already tell you he's not on my top 5. He's not iconic enough for me. So I'm going to do a top 5 Spidey video, and that should be hopefully live by the end of the week. And I'm thinking, let me know what you'll think about this. Instead of doing, and I'm still going to do a full collection tour at some point, but in the meantime, because it's taking me a while to finish everything off, I'm thinking about doing like little micro tours. So like just the Spidey section, or
I was just
I think
saying,
it's
just
a
one
great
display
idea.
at a time. Yeah,
Dope
Great
idea.
idea.
Yeah,
Do it.
that's
Endgame or yeah,
Definitely.
I think that's a
I'll
good
do
idea.
and we can spend more time in that one display versus just quickly. Because if I
Yeah.
do everything, it's going to be either an hour-long video or I only spend 20 seconds on each display. So
Justin, question for you
definitely
on your
do it.
top
Just give me
5
more
Spidey.
reasons to come there and take pictures. Yeah,
yes,
just do it.
yes.
Question for you on your
Sure,
top 5
sure.
Spidey. Is
Yes,
that
Sputnik.
all?
Yes, but
Is that you said that, and I looked right over to see if Lael changed my name on the fucking thing because I
He
was
should
like,
have.
Is that what?
You should
So-
have by now.
Is your top 5 Spidey like what's in the running? Is it just
Everything.
Peter Parker, or is it Miles
N-
and
not
Spider-Man
Miles.
and villains?
Not Miles, not villains. It's just Peter Parker, but all kinds of Peter Parker from all the movies and the games.
So all Peter Parkers. Okay, gotcha.
Yes. I might do if we ever get enough Miles figures, and there should be when 2020 Super
Yeah.
Bodega Catsuit, when they all come out, I might do a top 5
Yeah.
Miles.
Yeah.
Top 5 Gwen is easy because it's just one.
This one.
Otherwise, it was
Well, there are
already
third-party
Ryan.
ones.
There are. Ryan and I were working on the top 5 list yesterday, and it was so hard to
Oh,
pick
hell-
the top
oh, God.
5 because there are so many good figures.
Yeah.
You
and
mean the
people
Chris
are-
Rock movie with Naz at the end? Oh wait, never mind.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
So anyway,
That was-
that's what's coming up.
That was
Stay
a good
tuned.
pull. That was a good pull.
Will-
Golf
Like
clap.
that?
Golf clap.
Naz at the end of top 5 is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. I'm
Oh
just
my
saying.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It was, bro.
Will,
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
what
looking
do you-
forward to that, Spidey, because that'll
wrap
be
it up so I
it.
can go eat, please.
okay, I'll wrap it up.
Come
Live
on,
stream
man.
Sunday.
Yes.
Normal collectors mingle. So anyone wants
Yes.
to come on that one, please let me know. And then possibly tomorrow, God of War Baldur Prime 1 is coming tomorrow. So if anyone wants to join for a live unboxing, if anyone wants to see that, let me know because I'm probably going to do that. So
If it's after 9, I'll join. If it's
okay,
after 9.
all right.
Is that quarter scale?
quarter
third?
scale? Quarter scale, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And Kratos should be
interesting.
coming.
That's
soon.
going to be a cool piece.
Yeah,
That's
it's
gonna
gonna,
be cool.
Kratos should be coming soon, but I got Baldur coming tomorrow, so I'm super. Dude, I've been waiting forever for that. I actually pre-ordered Baldur before Kratos. Interestingly enough, I really like. I tend to go for the villains for some reason, but
How was
I
the
re-
shipping on that one?
I got it from Sideshow, so it was like 160 or something.
Oh, that's not bad.
It wasn't bad. It's 2
Well, you
boxes.
pre-ordered that a while ago, too, right?
Yeah, it's 2 boxes, and I paid it off a while back. So yeah, I followed the Brendan methodology of paying it off in advance. So yeah, so that, and then Collectors Mingle on Sunday, and then I'm actually going to be. So we got Figures and Flicks coming out Friday, right?
Yeah.
Figures and Flicks coming Friday, so that's coming tomorrow. Still got to edit that actually, and then send that over to Justin. Then I think I'm going to be on Manaha Collectibles tomorrow. So that's
Okay.
something new. And then I'm going to with Dante, and then I'm going to be doing. You guys already know my thoughts, but I'm going to be doing an Eternals review. So
Oh no.
that's.
Can I already say you're wrong?
you can just
Yes.
comment it,
Yeah,
Rob.
absolutely.
I'll pin your comment if you do it. I'll
Would you
pin
do
it.
that? All right.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Right.
So and then I
Can't say that and not do it. You got to follow through now.
I'll follow through. I'll follow through. It's Rob. I mean, it's Rob.
Rob,
Martin.
make it
Yeah,
a really
he,
good
he
one.
literally rides dolphins.
Make him
I mean,
eat those words.
like Rob would
I
ride
do.
a dolphin into the
You
next
had the
stream.
photographic evidence to prove it. I was
Yes, I
holding
mean-
a dolphin in my hand.
Yeah, so yeah,
I'm
so
awkward,
and I
man.
want to see tomorrow. I think Ghostbusters comes out, right?
Yep.
So I
What?
want to see
Wait,
that.
what?
Is that
and then,
tomorrow? I thought it
What
was
for
next
us,
week.
Yeah.
Justin?
Not
No.
for us, John. We
I'm
get
pretty
it
sure it
in
does in the
January, I
States.
think.
And there's something else
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out tomorrow. What else comes out
What?
tomorrow? Something else. I forget.
I
on.
don't know.
But Ghostbusters, I want to see that. So probably see that and then review
I'm
that.
the
going
hell?
to see that this weekend.
Ghostbusters
Yeah.
is definitely tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. So that, and then yeah. Anyway, Justin, sorry I took too long. You get to eat soon, but that's everything.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
what
right.
the hell? We get it. Yeah, that's fucking
I gotta check
BS.
my
In
Regal
Australia, we get it in January.
I thought you guys were in the future.
Wow.
Why are you getting everything
you're in the
behind
future.
us?
There
Oh.
are advanced screenings, I think. So I'm gonna see if I can get a
Oh, King
ticket to that.
Richard comes out tomorrow too. King Richard, the
Oh,
Richard,
yeah,
I want to
yeah,
see movie with
yeah.
Will Smith. Yeah, that has great reviews so far, and I'm
Yeah,
a
I
big tennis
definitely
fan,
see
so I want to
that.
see that.
That one's on HBO Max too, though.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, is it? Okay, maybe I'll watch
That
that.
like
Ooh.
that's not like you have to see it on the big screen. Kind
Yeah,
of movie.
probably
No,
not.
no, no.
But it's
That's
supposedly very
definitely
good.
one I want to
So-
support.
Oh, I definitely
want to check that
cannot
out.
wait to see that film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely
You got to watch
Ghostbusters
his
is fun.
YouTube show. Where he's have you seen his YouTube show he's done?
Yes, yeah.
I want to watch that.
I saw that one and the one where he's actually, his trials through getting in shape and getting back in shape and
Yes.
stuff like that. That one's
Yeah,
real.
He was
Yeah.
pretty revealing, man. He was
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking
love
definitely-
forward to
that
watching
he's a
that
cool
one.
dude. Really.
Yeah,
like, parents just
definitely
don't
love it.
understand.
Exactly.
Give me
They
my
sure
I want
don't.
my Mike
Dude, I'm
Lowry.
looking forward
Will
to that
was like, yeah, I
reboot
get
of
it.
Fresh Prince. That
Oh,
reboot
yeah.
of Fresh Prince. I'm looking forward to that.
It looks
Uh,
good.
Yeah, I have
gonna
my
be
mixed
fun.
feelings about that. We'll see how it goes. Because if it's not, anyway, Rob, what you got coming up next, bro? Besides the simple fact that I can't wait for Friday night when we always
Well, we
jump.
got our Midnight Metal,
We
which
got
you know what's
Midnight
so
Metal.
funny? I've watched the viewership steadily growing. So I guess our erudite conversation has been
They love it,
attractive
bro.
to people.
They
People
love
love
it.
it. It's
They
a great
love it.
show.
Even when we
You
talk
and
about
me
Will.
and RM, we got to talk about.
We do talk
Do you guys
about
talk
as-
about me?
Well,
Yeah,
as
we
people
talk about
know,
you.
as people know, the movie I made, I produced and edited, Tango Shalom, is on VOD.
Yes.
Even if you hate it, please go to Amazon, spend $3, $4 actually, watch it, and just give me a 5-star review because we need to get 100 5-star reviews to perhaps get a streaming deal. So
Well,
help-
hey,
help-
Rob, you
help
know
a brother
what?
out.
So Toya watched the trailer today, and she noticed that you had, I guess, I forget the girl's name from Dancing with the Stars.
She's the star of the movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
She
yes.
looked at it. Yeah,
Karina Smirnoff, and I have to say it's opening
Nice.
in Russia on
Yeah.
December 16th. It's opening everywhere, and I saw the Russian trailer, and in Russia it's called Hands Off.
yeah.
And it's fantastic. And then another thing I worked on, if you have not seen it, Dota Dragon's Blood, which is an animated series on Netflix.
Okay,
I was the editor on it, and the second season drops in January.
sweet.
And then you can always come to my YouTube channel, The Burn Network, where I have
Yes.
a new morning show, The Hollywood Half and Half. It's a half an hour blast of your entertainment news, 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 30 minutes in and out, and then watch my show, Robservations. And then, of course, Midnight Metal on the weekends. And
Yes, yes.
tomorrow,
Rob-
Az and I do our Squid Game review. We're up to episode 4.
Ooh. Wait
And
till
I
you get
will-
to 6.
and I
6
will-
is crazy.
Oh, yeah. I will be on the Critical Drinkers show tomorrow afternoon as well.
That sounds fun.
Okay.
Rob, how does the director of Tango Shalom pronounce his last name?
Bologna.
Okay.
It's Gabe Bologna, and his father, Joseph Bologna, was an actor who was in movies like My Favorite Year and Blame It on Rio. With done, and his mom is Renee Taylor, who was the nanny's mother on that miniseries, and she's been in a bunch of movies, and both of them are in Tango Shalom. And Joe Bologna, he passed away in 2017, but we rushed very hard to get a cut of the movie that he could watch and comment on. So,
Just purchased it.
oh well, thank you. Watch it,
There
but
you
then
go.
go to Amazon, write that review.
Definitely.
But I'll tell
5
you,
stars.
if you've ever wanted to see an indie Jewish spiritual quest family dance comedy fable, well,
I mean,
then,
have we
Shalom
not
is the
all
movie for
thought
you.
that exact same thing at some point?
I think to myself, well, there's a genre that's burning up the box office charts, and we're right there to fill the void.
There you
Rob,
go.
you fill those voids. You
That's what she said.
I
Definitely.
knew that was coming.
And
I knew that was gonna
and
get a
when I
head shake
say
from
voids,
Justin.
it's plural.
Yo. Anyway, Rob, I can't wait for Friday night's discussion, man. It's gonna be fun. If you haven't already, follow everybody's channel on this panel right now. There's interesting information, most definitely, on my brothers. So support that. Also, if you haven't already subscribed to the 1/6 Scale Man YouTube channel, we are doing a giveaway again for the month. It is the Goodwill Thanksgiving giveaway. The video is actually up on the channel itself on how you can enter to win. You have to be a member or become a member of the Collector's Zone Cantina. Me and my boy Marcos got together and streamlined this idea.
when you're
Also,
in there, I think there's still a bunch of those 15% off codes that are still left too.
they're still basically left up. I got to just find out how many are left. Should be like maybe 7 or 8 of those codes still left, 15% off on Collector's Own product. Also, like I said, you just have to demonstrate goodwill, to your fellow man. Not will,
Just
will,
me you
but
were talking about.
goodwill. To your fellow
But if
man.
you want to
or-
throw a charity date at will, that counts as
Yeah,
the
I'll
Goodwill.
take it.
Definitely
stuff,
does not.
so-
Definitely does not. But anyway, goodwill towards your fellow man, family member, or just show how you've actually helped out the community. That's just the process of it. You get a chance to win that Superman bust from Sideshow. It's definitely a decent piece. So you do want to get there. Also, just keep in mind that you can follow us, actually watch us on the Comic Book Talk with Friends on Monday, where we will discuss, just history of Hawkeye before the show comes out, and most of the characters that you'll see there. So they're really a very good discussion that day. And then we also have, Say What on Wednesday nights, like tonight, and we'll be discussing probably a new, I don't know yet, but we'll think about what we're going to actually discuss. It'll be interesting. I'll also be jumping on Justin's show, Mr. Keola himself on Tuesday nights, definitely. So yeah,
You might not
stay
be if you
tuned.
keep calling him that.
Can I
Yes.
give a shout out to
Yes.
Justin and Will Foxification's live streams? Or
Yeah.
they're not live streams, right? They're recorded podcasts.
Yeah.
Netflix.
Those are really good.
Yeah.
Like
you.
I gotta give a shout out to you guys. I think that's a really entertaining show. I really, really like it.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
great.
try.
And
Thank you.
I caught up with my first one yesterday, and I think it's a good show. You guys have good charisma. It's a lot of fun to listen to.
Oh, it gets better. Wait till you get into the later episode. It's even better.
Yeah.
Well, Lael, I think also you should give a shout out to your significant other and her fashion line.
Yes.
The holidays,
Yes.
the holidays are coming up.
Yes,
And if
definitely.
you're
The
looking-
holidays
if
are
you're looking
coming
for
up.
a gift. By the way, it's got the coolest name ever.
Yes, I will actually pull that up really, really quick. It is the Cocoa Tulip
Cocoa
line.
Tulip.
It's
Come
called
on,
Cocoa
man.
Tulip.
I want to wear some Cocoa Tulip couture.
Yes, so she basically did. She dropped her line. What was it, last week? And it is doing extremely well. So I'm happy to basically see that she's doing that, and she's just living out her dream. It's something that she wanted to do, and she's doing it. So if you haven't already, you can actually go ahead, log on. It's Christmas time. You can buy some incredible pieces for your significant other.
And you don't have to be afraid.
Damn,
And
that
you
website is classy.
Yeah, bro.
That looks real nice.
Real nice.
Exactly. All photos taken by yours truly.
Hell
Definitely.
yeah.
Nice.
So, definitely you
Nice.
can actually find and get some pieces,
Those
there
look great,
from her.
Lael.
Thank you very much. man.
Squarespace?
Thank you very much. Huh? What's
Did you,
that?
did you use Squarespace for the website?
Did you Squarespace it?
Can I Squarespaces?
No.
We'll take that. We'll take that as a no. We'll
Yeah,
take that as a
no.
no.
I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I gotta ask her.
We'll
Like,
take it as a no.
possibly you can. You
Yeah.
possibly can. But yeah,
By the way,
definitely.
look at that logo.
Know what
I
I'm talking
want.
about?
It's a no.
Can you
It's a
go
no.
scroll? Look at that logo. I want that. Can please have her make a men's like extra large T-shirt so I can
She
wear that
will.
logo.
She we talked about it. That's what she's basically wanting to do to make merch. She's going to actually have merch.
And
on
I
the
want a
channel, so-
high-end baseball hat, not a trucker hat, but a real nice baseball hat with
And
that
high-end.
logo.
Looks
Yeah,
like
definitely,
we
man.
might be getting some Hawkeye drop soon. We just got some cos babies.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
they always drop cos babies. Doesn't mean shit.
Oh, man.
I'm just saying, with the show about to start, and
I think
these
we will,
dropping,
and they have Disney Plus now. Congratulations to Hong Kong. You now have Disney Plus as of 2 days ago. So everyone in Hong Kong, hopefully that will mean there's more love for Disney Plus stuff.
I'm hoping.
Will the Chinese allow Loki to show?
Well, I guess Hong Kong is a little bit more free than China. So
Is it though? Is it now? I don't know.
A little bit. Emphasis on a little bit. So
And
I
one-
think
for the time being, at
it'll be
least.
Yeah.
okay.
Last point. This is last thing before we go. Lael, they showed the proto of the new integrated suit at Secret Base.
Mhm.
So on Facebook, I don't know if Justin's seen any photos from Ryan yet or anything.
Let me have a look.
But I shared it, Lael, if you want to share it real quick.
Hold
but,
on,
and then
On
we'll-
Hot
we'll-
Toys Facebook.
Yeah, it was a
Hold
Hot
on.
Toys Secret Base. It's just
Let
a
me.
quick.
Okay,
Ryan
give me a
is
second. Let me
going
get this
to
in.
take the photos today.
Okay, let me get this in really, really quick. This is also another one that I actually wanted to
Oh,
share.
okay.
This is my baby girl. This is my
Oh.
daughter's. Her site is called In Her Name, and she does basically sell beauty product, lip glosses, eyelashes, stuff like that for, young ladies. And also, actually Susan has modeled a lot of her stuff and actually used it. She buys from her a lot. So shout out to Blue Susan for that. So yeah, it's in the family gene. She's hustling. So I'm so proud of her that she's actually doing it as well. So, keep that in mind if you're looking for a couple of different things. Did you want me to bring that picture up? real
It's
quick,
fine.
Will?
Yeah, just it's on Facebook for those who want to see it. It's on Hot Toys. It's like a secret base photo. They showed
Okay.
just the Spider-Man on the base. That's it. Yeah,
Oh, okay. It looked pretty good though so far.
it looks great, man.
All right,
Looks
cool.
real good.
But again, hey, Thanks. Hey, it's so late. It's like 2 hours, 2 hours. Anybody out in the chat, I normally go through it, but I'm not going to do that tonight. Everybody, shout out to everybody that came through tonight. It's been a pleasure. Most definitely. You know, always I want to run through and give you guys a shout out. But again, thank you for coming and being a part of it. We couldn't do it without you. Be kind to your fellow man. Also, like I said, constructive criticism is always great and welcome. Opinions is always great, but just still be kind and be sensible when people are giving it. Please.
Fuck
you. Know.
you.
Straight up, right?
There you go.
That's what they're saying, right? So anyway, thank you
Fuck your
guys for coming
feelings.
through. Anyway, it's been a good pleasure. And till next time, peace, peace,
Peace.
peace.
Wait, what?